Chato Villalobos is a first-generation Mexican-American who proudly serves his community in the Kansas City, Missouri's police department. Chato hails from Kansas City's west side, where he grew up and lived through a first-hand struggle of urban life for young people. A veteran of the United States Army, Chato would find his calling as a police officer and is now in his 24th year of service. Thank you for your service, Chato. We discuss his upbringing, his passion for service and community, the challenges he faces in his career, losing close friends, his poetry, and so much more. We are proud to capture this incredible story. This is Enterrupt KC. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome back to Enterrupt KC, the podcast dedicated to people, places, and things right here in Kansas City. I'm your man, D-Rod. This is JL. We got Nick behind the scenes, man, making sure everything's good on these screens. You know what I'm saying?
And the audio, man.
And the audio, man, making sure that...
Nick doing the most important job, to be honest.
We just talking shit, and he here making sure that our shit talking is legit, man.
Man, D-Rod.
Yeah, man.
So, couple things, man. You know, we had our 21st episode. This is our 22nd, man.
Yeah, man. Deuce.
And, you know, social media, man, it's just picking up. It's picking up, man.
Man, we talked about this a couple days ago, man.
Right.
And, just to... Go ahead, man. Let's do it, man.
We got over 1,000 followers, well over 1,000 followers on Instagram. So
on
shout
IG,
out
man.
all of our Instagram followers.
Hey, all
man.
our followers, man, are in the audience, man. People who are liking what we're doing, man.
Yeah.
You're following for a reason, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's from all different races, culture, gender. I mean, everybody is like interacting, man. It's dope.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And it's from even other countries.
Other countries.
And other countries, which is crazy, man.
And I gotta admit, man. So shorts and all this is brand new to us, right? Just like had the idea of it before we started this.
Yeah.
And that Kobe short where you're asking Gear like, hey, is there any up and comers in the city? And shout out homie Gear, man. And Gear's like, man,
shout out, man.
Kobe, that dude is up, man. So put together a short on that, man. And man, Kobe is everywhere in this city, man.
Yeah, man, and I thank all of his followers and people just seeing that, man. Really, they cling to that.
I didn't realize how popular that was gonna be whenever we put it together.
Yeah.
So, but
even the breakdown on a lot of them, when we seen how many the interactions there is, man, and then some of them comments, and so shout out to IG and all our followers, man, and on every platform.
Subscribers, man, we're about 200 subscribers on YouTube, man.
Yeah.
I mean, just to think, man, we started doing this. It seems like just a couple months ago.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? So, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, man, everybody out there showing love, man. Really respect y'all.
You know what that is, man?
That's a salute.
That's a salute, man, to our followers, man. You know what I'm saying? Salute, man.
And Dulcinea, this is you. This is Café Corazon.
Yeah, man. So shout out, man.
I forgot my cup. Shit.
Yeah. Well, we got some other stuff here we're going to be saluting to.
We going to be doing some saluting, if you can't tell just by looking at the table today.
Yeah, man.
We have an incredible guest, brother.
Man.
An incredible guest, man.
Man, this guy, man, I reached out to him a while ago, man. I've known him for a long time, man. And I just know that his interactions and his passion for this community and everything that he's done is just, man, phenomenal, man.
I can't wait because I have not really gotten to know this individual.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about what we're going to learn and talk about today, man.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot what people already know. I think it might be some emotions.
Another hood legend.
Man, it's another hood legend, man.
We use that term, man, for a couple people already. It's another hood legend, man. Seriously.
Well, let's do it, man.
Let's do it, man. So we're going to go ahead and interrupt our guest today. And by interrupt, we mean introduce our guest. None other than the man himself, Mr. Chato Villalobos, man.
Chato.
What is up?
What's up, man? It's an honor to be here. That's all, man.
Hey, honor to have you,
man.
brother.
The honor is all ours, brother.
Yeah, been a fan of y'all's from the get-go, actually. I think you guys were only like 3 episodes in, and I was just excited about it and wanted to give you guys some props. And next thing you know, I'm sitting over here
Well, right on, man, right on. You know, like I said, I reached out to you, man, a while ago, and with schedule, you're a busy man, man.
Busy.
You got a lot of stuff going on naturally, and I knew that, and I'm just happy to have you in this seat, bro.
Yeah, man. Likewise, man. Likewise. No other place
man.
I want to be right now, man.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. I got to say, man, Chato, you've been around, brother. Like, I've seen you around, man. We bumped into each other not that long ago, right? In coffee spot, Café Corazon. And it was none but love, man. So I appreciate, man, all the support and love you've been giving us, brother.
No, man, absolutely. What you guys are doing is so important, and that's what got me hooked, just to see how you guys shine light on stuff from the history that makes Kansas City great, and then when you guys are chopping it up with some people who are up and comers, and then those are out there doing it right now.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole lot to love about this, man. So
appreciate that, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, thank you.
Appreciate that. Well, man, you know how we do, brother. I mean, really the whole point, man, of Enterrupt KC, bro. We're trying to grab your story, man, and you got an incredible story, man. So let's get right down to it, man. Let's talk about Chato, man. Where are you from, brother? Where are you born and raised at?
So my family they came from Mexico to LA, California. That's where I was born. My mom I had four. My oldest sister was born in Mexico, and then she had complications with 3 pregnancies while in Mexico. So they decided, like, we got some family in LA. With this pregnancy, we're gonna go. So I was born in California, but we got here in Kansas City when I was about 3 years old. We landed on the west side, and some other folks took us in, some other hood legends, welcomed us in, took my mom in, helped her find a job. My dad was working on the railroad. I think you guys had some people that are affiliated with the railroad and some of the past guests.
Yeah.
So,
Man.
So I guess like Kansas City in the 1900s, the railroad brought us here. Well, back in 1975, the railroad brought the Villalobos family here. So I claim Kansas City all the way. I got love for my family in LA, but Kansas City is what I claim, growing up on the west side for sure.
Absolutely, no doubt, man. Absolutely. So you grew up here on the west side. About what street you grew up on?
I was on 21st. Everybody remembers that West Penway Market eventually became like a little bakery at the bottom. There's on 21st and West Penway. So we were in a little 1-bedroom apartment upstairs. You had to go in through the back. So I remember everything from West Penway to 23rd Street. I was like right in the middle. So it was an interesting place to grow up, man. A lot of culture, a lot of stuff. The firefighters right down the street. We used to go down there and mess with them guys. But I remember all, man. And cool thing about it is, like, now that I'm a cop, I get to come back and be assigned down here.
Man.
That's got to be real special, bro.
Yeah, this department allowed me to find my way back home, man. So it's been pretty cool, man. I've had a wonderful life. When you think about it, I mean, all of us here from Kansas City, growing up Latino in Kansas City. Like, it ain't like Texas and California or the Southwest or Chicago. We have access to everything. Like, we're benefiting from those that got here in early 1900s with that railroad. Right. Argentine too, right?
Right.
And we're able to celebrate culture and have that around us. So I didn't realize until I left the West Side to go to the Army, like, how much I missed my culture and stuff like that. I mean, we had a pretty interesting thing to hear in Kansas City going on with the Latino community.
Yeah. So growing up, man, I mean, you talked about just a second ago, you went to the military, but I mean, was like service, public service, was that like something you knew at a young age, bro, that you were going to get into?
All right, man. So, like, this is where people don't know about me, man. So people will be like, oh, man, we thought Chato just wanted to serve the country, man. I got a story for y'all.
Go ahead.
Let's do it, man.
So I was in high school, and I was a junior in high school, I remember specifically, and I was dating this young lady from the neighborhood, solid person, man. She had the Kaufman program going for her, and her family was solid, and you knew she was going places. And I was like, man, I need to do something in my life, man. I was running around in the streets like the rest of us, good kids, but just trying to find stuff to do. And, and I knew I was a smart kid, but I wasn't always in school. But I knew, like, you got at that age, we start thinking about the future. And this Puerto Rican recruiter walked into the cafeteria at Westport High School, and I saw the way everybody reacted to him in that uniform. And I was like, damn, dude, he was tall, Latino, had a sharp uniform. And I was like, man. And he comes over, he's like, you guys want to go to college? And I'm like, hell yeah, bro, like, let's go. And it was actually my boy who talked me into it, like, dude, my grade point average ain't that good. We didn't do too good in school, but we can kill college, man. Let's go do this. Yeah. Let's get out of the city. Let's go do something. I was like, all right, bet, let's do it. But then came time to go. He was like, man, I think I'm going to do something else, bro. He's like, you could get out too. I was like, nah, man, this is all I got, man. Like, this is my opportunity to go serve. But not only that, what a lot of people may know already, like in Argentina and the West Side, we have history of people in our community who served in the military. So that wasn't something new to me. Like every block had a war hero on the West Side. I know Argentina has the American Legion down there.
Yeah.
Eagle's Nest.
So it wasn't something strange to my community because I saw them around me in uniform, man. I saw guys on my block they would go a weekend warrior and come home. And so it wasn't just like this thing to go get some money for college. I was like, man, that was just dope, man. Just the way that we, Memorial Day would come around or Veterans Day, and we had people that looked like us, walk like us, and talk like us since like World War II, Korea, Vietnam, like Latinos have served. So that was the other thing. I was just being mentored by my mentor, Gilbert Guerrero. So he was the one that's talking about the Chicano service in Vietnam and how like this is our country too. We've paid with blood. So that was in my head trying to get, and they were offering college programs. So that's how I ended up. Plus, I wanted to do right by this person I was with at the time. Like, man, she's doing her part. She's got straight A's. She's college bound. Like, what am I bringing to? Because I remember specifically people on the block, like, what's he doing with him? What's she doing with him? He's going to ruin her life. And I was like, nah, I owe it to my moms. I got to do something. So that's why I went, man. I'm glad I did. It changed my life. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about service and just integrity and those kind of things, and just taking care of yourself and the person next to you. All those things that come with our culture anyway, right? We raise lions,
principles,
right?
That's right.
We raise lions. We got to take care of each
right?
other, right? Take care of the pride. So it wasn't a hard culture to adapt to. The hardest part, though, was like, a lot of us Latinos were mama's boys, though. So having this dude yelling at me every day was something I had to get used to. Man. I was like, man, dude, I'm on it, man. Like, I'm one of the fastest runners here. Like, what's up? Like, they were just constantly on you. I'm like,
did you ever say, hey, yo, man, can you say that in Spanish to me?
No, when I messed around, it was when the drill sergeants wasn't around, but I get caught sometimes. They'd walk in on me, wilding out, man. And because it was forward, I was trying to make these dudes laugh because they're all depressed. And what I was like, like, this ain't hard, man. You guys, I don't know where you guys come from, man, but like, this ain't hard. I grew up on the West Side, so I'm like, man, I battled through some things before, but it was an adventure, man, for sure.
That's what's up, bro. So what military did you get
Army.
into?
I was in the Army, and I was in the mechanized infantry unit.
Okay.
Got stationed back out in California.
Okay.
And that was, man, like I said, I was 18 years old, and I was driving a Bradley. This Bradley is like a tank type vehicle. And I'm like, I'm 18 years old with this multi-million-dollar thing that I'm in charge of getting like a crew to wherever we got to go and then come back, And so it was all on me as a driver. So I was like, it was crazy, man.
How long was you in there for, bro?
I did 4 years active. I did 2 years active, went into 4, but you sign up, it's an 8-year contract. So you can get out and just serve like you're on call, or you could go to the reserve. So what I did my active duty. Then when I got out and I came to work at the Guadalupe Center working with young people, I missed the uniform. So I went into the reserves and started serving in the civil affairs unit down here in Belton, Missouri. But then I got accepted to police academy. And so I was like, all right, so I just let it go and finished my career. I did my 8 in the reserves. I finished in the reserves.
Right on, man.
So,
man, that's dope, bro. You know what that is, D-Ron?
Tell me, man. Tell me, man.
That is a salute.
That's a salute to service, man.
Salute to you, brother. Chato.
Man, appreciate y'all. And to all,
absolutely.
to all the people who served, salute to all the people in our community too.
No doubt, man. No doubt, man.
And the thing is one thing people might not know until now, right? When I say this, it's actually Memorial Day week or day. Right. It's actually Memorial Day.
Right. So
Memorial Day, man.
I'm gonna do one extra for that, man.
Hey,
no doubt.
For all those that paid it with the ultimate price, man, we remember them.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. Shout out.
So, I mean, you were talking about this, Chato, bro. Like, obviously, man, we raise lions, like you said, man. I love that. Take care of the pride. There's a lot of principles and values just growing up in the Latino community here on the West Side that you learned automatically. But in the military, bro, like, what is the thing the military taught you?
So, like, everything that you do, every action, like, as a single young man, you're thinking, all right, man, I could just do whatever I want. If I do something wrong, I have to pay the price, and I'll get over that. I'll forgive myself. I could look in the mirror and be like, hey, let's do it better tomorrow. But in the Army, if you mess up, man, like that's your whole squad can pay for that, or your whole platoon can pay for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it taught you accountability to each other, you know, and that's something that we had on the West Side too, you know, like, but like there's a lot of discipline that goes on, like taking care of your body, like, you know, you don't think about health, you know, as a young man.
Right.
You're out there putting all this stuff in your body because, you know, your body's resilient. But in the Army, it's like, man, if you're not in shape, man, and something happens, you got to carry somebody somewhere. Like that was drilled into you. Like you got to take care of your temple, man. You got to take care of your body. And what was crazy about that lesson, I got out. And then, like, Gilbert was feeding me all the stuff about the Aztecs and the Mayans, man.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, my wife found this thing that the Mayans did. It's called En La Quech. And it's called, like, you are my other me. So it's like, I started thinking about the Army values. It's like, it means, like, if I do harm to you, I do harm to myself. If I do harm to myself, I do harm to you. So, like, that philosophical approach, man, like I can't be out here just messing around because they're depending on me to be full in spirit. And not only that, I got to be ready for when they're not full in spirit, then I can carry them. So there's a lot of parallels, man, with our culture and the Army. And then like knowing that I'm from the West Side, I am Latino, I belong to the West Side community. And then now that I'm a police officer, you know, it's like whatever action I do out there on the street in public, like that doesn't just affect me. Like I can mess up somebody else's opportunity to trust the police, you know, when they actually need help, and then they don't make that call because the way I treated them or the way I treat my kids.
Right.
So them Army values, it was my first taste of that stuff. But coming back to the West, I really resonated. Like it really reinforced it because of the responsibility that was put on me by my mentors in this community.
That's dope, bro. Honestly, man. I mean, I've never been to the military, bro, but I've been around. I've worked around a number of veterans, and just hearing you talk, bro, it's powerful. I'm serious, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it,
It's powerful,
man.
bro. It's powerful.
And I don't know what everybody else's experience was. You know, the military is a big place,
Sure.
man, and maybe somebody else's experience was different. But I could tell you, I was blessed enough to go to a unit where that was instilled, where like the commander would eat last, right? When we're out in the field doing these missions, they bring the food out, and it was the lowest ranking ate first, right? And then we would all go through, and then the commander will come back. And then the philosophy is like, if you're a good leader, they'll save you some food. But if you don't treat your people right, by the time it's your turn, they're like, hey, man, where all the food go, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so that kind of mentality, man, how you treat people that could come back on you, man, how you treat the people that are down here who like how you guys treat Nick, man. You know, that could come back on you.
We
bro.
gotta treet Nick better.
Nick makes this thing go round.
We gotta
right?
salute Nick, man.
Man, I've been waiting to say this, bro. I've been following y'all's episodes as a fan. When I finally got asked to come out, like, I already know the game, man. Like, we gotta take care of Nick, and everything will be all right.
Yeah,
man.
take care of Nick, man.
Take care of Nick, man. Salute Nick, man.
So, Chato, you were in the military. You stayed there for 8 years, you said? 6 years?
Yeah, so active duty was 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Yeah.
And then you get out of the military, bro. But you did this because of a female, right?
Yeah.
And then you get out, and then, man, what happened? You got out and what?
So, like, you know, we're two good people that was just too busy, and she went off to college, and it would have been too hard. We were young enough, wise enough to know, like, hey, you do your thing and go. And I got back, and I came. This building actually used to be Alta Vista. So my mentor, when I was in high school, I had dropped out of high school momentarily because I went through a friend of mine got killed in a drive-by shooting, and I just wasn't feeling life. I was like, man, I'm gonna go work. I don't need school. So this mentor that I ended up with, I came back from the Army, and he was like, dude, what are you doing? I need somebody to run these youth programs for me, man, and I trust you.
Okay.
You know, he brought me in as a high school student, started mentoring me, and had me working, like helping kids with their homework. When I came back, he had me be the youth development coordinator. So I was like, hey, man, I'm looking for a job. I came back just to say hello. Since I was a neighbor, I wanted to thank him because he was part of that process of me making it out of high school and going on to do this. And he was like, nah, man, I need you to come work. So I had an office on the second floor of what used to be Alta Vista on Holly Street. And I was working for Guadalupe Center, just working with young people.
Yeah.
Just trying to inspire them or whatever crisis they're going through, try to manage kids in crisis so that they wouldn't go into the gangs. And even if they were in the gangs, we're like, come on, man, you got potential. Let's try to find you a job. Let's figure this out, you know. So I was doing that for about 7 years before I finally became a cop.
Man, I want to go back to something you said real quick, man, just to kind of touch on that. You know, you're here working with kids in crisis and trying to help them, guide them, and lead them in a different path. But at the same time, you said you had a best friend that just got killed in a drive-by.
Yeah.
Bro, you were going through some stuff yourself.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Yeah, dude, just unpacking that, at least where I came from, healthcare and all this stuff is being put in our face. Thank God now, right? We have all these blessings there where the healthcare and people are more conscious about seeking help. Yeah. But back then, it was like this real put a Band-Aid mentality. You just got to tough that out. You just got to go through it. Everybody goes through it. So you don't really seek that help, or maybe you don't have access to insurance. So in my case, you're right. Like, I came back from the Army, all the stuff I dealt with in the Army, and then as a young kid, and that trauma that I experienced during that, and that we all experienced, right? Because we're all from the same neighborhoods. I was like unpacking that while I was trying to deal with these kids going through their stuff. So I never really got a chance to figure it out. But the blessing in that was that at least that my mentor, Gilbert, said this thing to me. He was like, look, I know you're mad at God, because sometimes we test our faith, man. We go through something real tough, and when something happens to a good person, we're like, why, man? But you know what? We have these angels around us. They're always like, nah, man, let's just keep our spirituality strong. But Gilbert broke it down like, look, we have to go through these things so that we could be more equipped to help others carry it, right? So if I've never gone through that and I get tasked out to come and help all these kids in crisis, and I never experienced crisis myself, I don't think I would have been as effective, because the most important connection to those kids was I did look like them, walk like them, talk like them, and I've been through it, right? While they're losing their family members to violence or experiencing violence and crisis, they know that I've been through it, but I still never had a chance to unpack that. And then I go to become a cop, and now every call you go to, there's somebody in crisis. So it was the police department 24 years ago that really said, hey, we're going to get some counseling because of this one call we were on. And I'm like, man, it is what it is. It's my whole life. They're like, nah, it's mandatory. And there happened to be this very skilled therapist that was like, hey, I ain't here to fix you. What I'm here to help you do is I'm going to give you some tools to help you cope with it. And then that way you understand what's going on. And then you could understand yourself, what you're experiencing. She's like, we're always going to be people who have, chips and dinks on us. Or, we're okay. Yeah. But sometimes we have very destructive ways of coping with it, drinking or going to gambling, drugs, whatever it is. That's what we have access to because we don't understand how therapy works. So to me, like, that therapist really broke it down, was real. Like, hey, man, like, you think you're a badass, man. That's your problem. Like, you think you're not supposed to unpack that. Like, when you have kids and all that, you're going to unpack it on them. When you start wilding out or drinking, and I did all those things, I had some very unhealthy ways of coping with things. But luckily, we had our community that would like, hey, no matter what, Chato, we got you. So,
I feel like, bro, we all did.
Man,
everybody.
I mean,
everybody.
Sad but true, man. I mean, as men, and we've had this discussion, man, many times already on here, which is great. It's genuine. It's organic, man. This mental health, man, that we all have.
The Ruiz brothers
brother.
Episode, bro. So if anybody wants to go back to that episode too, they do a beautiful job of what you can do with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've all had our issues at one time or another. Just dealing with it and how you survive it. Man. Put it in a different perspective and go on with it, man. So I salute you, man.
Brother.
For talking about that.
All of us, and you guys create this format, man. And to hear those discussions, like you said, it has been talked and it keeps coming up. But these are things that I really appreciate about what you guys are doing here, man. Like healthcare, a lot of people don't realize, the thing I think that resonated with me the most with this therapist is she used the word courage, synonymous with like empathy and compassion. Like, some people just aren't courageous enough to say, I need help. And I'm like, man, so she tested me, right? Like, man. So that helped, like, in the language of aggression and macho and all the bullshit that we swallow in order to survive this thing, because we don't want to be judged by seeking help. she's the one that gave me permission to seek help by saying that's the manly thing to do is to ask for help so that you're more capable of helping somebody else has been through it. Yeah. So shout out to the therapist, man, that just like give us that language, you know?
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
and man, listen, I think what you're talking about, Chato, is so on point to what D-Rod said. I mean, a number of episodes, even just this last one, Angela Kennedy, she literally said, like, you've got to, you have to be okay with telling people, I need help. Yeah. You know, I need help, you know, with a business or with my emotions or with a mental struggle, whatever it is, you know, physical struggle. You got to be okay to tell people, oh, I need help, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I love that you guys just like, there's been some things even as every day we wake up, we have to win that fight, you know, like every day, I'm not fixed, man, by no means, you know, being a cop, you're exposed to different things and every day you got to wake up. And I'm a father of 4 teenagers, right? And my beautiful wife.
You're going through it, bro.
So every day, all of us, man. Everybody out there has this thing where we wake up, we just want to be the best version of ourselves. So we got to every day look in that mirror and be like, you know, prep ourselves for that day. And then sometimes at the end of the day, we come home, we look in the mirror like, man, we could do better, man. Come on now.
A little bit.
You know, let's so we forgive ourselves, right? And that's the other thing that I learned. Like, look in the mirror and tell that person, like, man, I got you. Hey, today you did that one choice that was good for you for about 5 minutes, but you knew better. But all right, I got you. I forgive you. Let's do better tomorrow. Like even that, because we're not perfect, man.
Not, bro.
Yeah, you know, we win some of those, when we lose some of those, man.
That's right. Absolutely, brother. I love it, man. So you were here, you're at Guadalupe Center, you're helping youth, you know what I mean? And so some way, somehow, Chato, that transitioned into you being a cop, bro. So tell us about that transition, bro.
Again, it wasn't my idea to go to the Army. One of my boys got in my ears like, man, think about what we could do, what you could be for her and everything else. So again, I give credit to my boy who became a firefighter. He was like, man, dude, you know, we've been working, we've been serving, but can you imagine we both speak Spanish and then we go serve a bigger community, like go be cops?
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, bro. And all I thought about was like, man, I get to wear the uniform again, right? Because I've been kind of Jones and I missed that. And I was like, oh, man. And I saw some of the things that are you know, we're up to date on the things that are you know, back then it was Rodney King, you know, showing my age a little bit. But, and we just like, to us, I already understood, like we were taught by Gilbert while we were working here, representation matters, you know, it does matter. And we had a department that I was blessed during that time that understood that too. And they happened to have a young captain by the name of Vince Ortega working as a recruiter.
We met him.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, shout out.
I'm over here dropping names just a drink. No. But I was lucky, man, just in my path that I was taking when I decided to become a cop, that he was on the other side looking for people from the community. Like he was not just helping them like, hey, this is how you got to hire. Like he would mentor us. He would like check in on us while we were in the academy. So that was my lucky break, was like, not only was I curious about it, but I had somebody I could chop it up with, you know. I had Vince Ortega and his family of service, and I had like Ramona Arroyo and, you know, some others that came from our community that wore the uniform, you know, and so it wasn't strange to us, you know. So I'm like, yeah, I could do this, but having Vince there was huge because he made sure like, all the stuff he was telling me, hey, you can mess this up, you know, by doing dumb stuff. Like, and I was like, cool. So all the stuff I learned in the Army, I was able to take some of that. My mom's, you know, or growing up on the West Side and things I know about my community and representation, I was able to package that up. And like the cool thing to say, I heard somebody say was like, Vince gave me a safe space to fall, right?
Yeah.
He gave me a safe space to fall. So if I needed anything, I'll start doubting myself, I can call him. And he did that for numerous Latinos on the police department and others, man. He was like, hey, if you want to be mentored, man, he was a leader to everybody. I've never known anybody, yellow, black, white, red, or brown police officer, male or female, that's ever said anything bad about that man as he made rank, you know. He always reached back and helped people. So that's what happened with me. I had you know, done my duty to my community. But even as I went, man, my community members, man, they kept my phone number. They put an ankle bracelet on me like, oh, you still belong to us, bro. So go get that badge, go do that. But they always gave me an opportunity to come back and serve in a different capacity while I was wearing the uniform.
That's dope, bro.
man.
Yeah.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, D-Rod, when he said earlier, some tall, good-looking Latino man came into my school and was recruited. I swear to God, I thought he was gonna say Vince Ortega. I swear to God, I thought that's
Man,
what you was
Vince
gonna
looks the exact
say,
same
man.
way as he did,
Man,
man.
those are
This
the
is our
common
first season,
denominators,
man.
right?
Yeah,
I
man.
swear to God, I thought you were gonna say his name was Vince Ortega. I was like, yep, that's it. That's what he
Yeah,
sounds
man.
like.
Hey, so have you done? I'm sure you have. Have you done that? Like, took that initiative and go to talk to kids
Oh
about trying to get on? Right, bro?
man, I've been recruiting since I came on, and and that's what he asked of us. Like, hey, I got you. Like, here, you're doing a good job, man. Make sure you see some young Latinos coming through the academy. And so he created that culture for us, and we've done. We have a deputy chief, the second only in our history, Latino, who Vince brought in during my time, Deputy Chief Luis Ortiz. So you guys may have heard his name. He's really involved at like Matty Roads and different places.
Yeah.
So, all he's ever asked us is not, to thank him or not, but just give it back. So in my 23, 24 years, I look out for those young Latino cops. I come down here in my uniform or out of uniform, and I'm helping out with a different, I'm on the Board of Education for the Guadalupe Center School District. So I help them coordinate their, for free, coordinate their security, or I help coordinate Matty Road security, HEDC.
Yeah.
Just like, if my community needs something that has to do with public safety, I try to make myself available.
Right.
And I think, it's important for these kids to see themselves in these uniforms, because I know what that did for me, seeing Vince Ortega in police uniform or like Ramona Arroyo, so, and then over in Kansas, man, I mean, KCK's had a history of like recruiting from the community, so.
I remember like Greg Conchola. and others.
Yeah.
Remember those guys?
Man, you talked. You said 24 years. So what you been in? Right?
Yeah.
And you've
Incredible
had,
career, bro.
Yeah, man. You've had your share of seeing, like you said, man, a lot of stuff over there, man.
Yeah.
The last thing, man, that it's probably been going on already. I think we talked about this once before already. Was police scrutiny, man.
Yeah.
And how you had to deal with that, bro.
Yeah, that was hard.
I'm not
gonna lie. Like, I think I thought about quitting. Out of all the stuff that I've been through, maybe 2 times during that era because of what it was doing to my family.
Yeah, man.
Look, it's very important that the community holds us accountable. Like, that doesn't get lost on me on like why there was scrutiny, because it seemed to be happening like every other day, every other week. Something was going down, and that the community was hurting.
So did you face that within the community towards you as well?
All right, man. I'm gonna real talk, man.
Take your time,
It's
bro.
all good, brother. It's all good, man.
Y'all this couch got some dust in it, man. Got these allergies, bro.
I know, brother. I know.
So there was numerous people that reached out and were like, we're praying for you, man.
Yeah, man.
A lot of my cop friends didn't have that. It was just their families like, man, just leave, man. Forget this. This is too crazy. They're coming at our kids in schools.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were like crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And it was, unfortunately, those people were hijacking what the message was supposed to be about, man. It's just that people wanted better, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We had a department that was ahead of the game for years, man. We've always had community people at the table. They've always done like intentional outreach and bringing their services to the communities. But those young men that, like the Andy Griffins, man, like they come from small towns. They just want to serve, man. They didn't understand what was going on because they didn't grow up in it. Oh, they felt like, self-preservation mode. Like, I got to quit because it's hurting my family. Like, what hurt me probably the most was I had some people who I thought were down, man. Like, and I wasn't even the one doing stuff, right? Like,
Right.
I thought they were down, man. And I started seeing like they were unfriending me on Facebook because they were scared to get scrutinized, that they were friends with a cop. But then, and that hurt.
Yeah, man.
But what helped me get through that was the real ones, man. I have people like Juan Moya be like, I'm proud of you, dude. Like people like who were in gangs were coming up to me like, man, we got nothing but love for you, bro. And it made me realize like, man, things have to happen. And I'm an older dude now, so things have to happen for you to see who your circle is. Sometimes you try to make yourself available to too many people,
Bro.
and then so it really showed me like, hey, The only time, like, I got used to showing up for people is when they weren't at their best. And I was trying to find ways to keep them from going to jail. But that couldn't be reciprocated when I needed them the most, when my family needed them. So some people popped out, man. I think they were, and I'm not even mad at them no more. At that time, I was like, man, that's weak, bro. Like, I need you now. Like, I need my community, bro.
Yeah, man.
But they showed up, bro. Like,
the ones who are there,
yeah,
brother,
man.
you know, and
lot,
like you said, it makes all the difference, makes it better.
And they were posting shit like on Facebook and everything, like, hey, Chato, we love you, like unapologetic. Like, we got you. And so there was a lot of support for me. So I was lucky enough, and I was stationed in the community, the Can Center. It's in the community. So one time we had these protesters roll up on our office, bro.
No shit.
And I was like, oh man, this is it, bro. Like, we're here. We're supposed to be like, we belong to the community. We've done all this stuff. Then I looked out there and I didn't recognize nobody. So I was like, all right. So I called in to one of them OG community members. I was like, hey, bro. And I was just messing with him. I was like, I thought we were cool. He's like, Chop, what's up? What are you talking about? I was like, man, everybody out here protesting us at this at our office. He's like, say no more. And these OGs rolled up, bro. And they were like, hey, y'all need I don't know what school you from. He was yelling at them like he thought they were from UMKC. He was like, you want to go protest in Ferguson? You want to go protest in St. Paul? These are our cops, man. And them kids were like, oh, shit, they were scared, man. And I went out there. I was like, hey, hold on, man. Like, you guys are all right, man. Like, I appreciate you guys want to be part of the movement, right? I appreciate, but you guys got to do your research, man. You coming out here trying to burn down a bridge that was built by the community, man. Like I try to tell people, like, the black community in Kansas City has this tremendous history from like the 1920s of just doing things like try to better, they have businesses and all these things. And if you learn about, like, 18th and Vine has all these opportunities for you to learn what they've established, so they can have a partnership and a voice and a say in the city. It's a beautiful model. And then for people to come down just because they're guilty, because they haven't stood for justice ever in their life, and this was their opportunity. So they're like, well, let's just go march. Let's go find some cops and let's go fuck some shit up, right? Let's go show up. But they don't do any research. I'm like, but this community is the one that started the Can Center. It wasn't the police department. It was like this community is the one that asked for us to be there, and they designed how we police people. So for you to just jump in, so you could say, hey, look what I did, take a selfie. We went, like, it went bad for them because the OGs, like, they remember what it took for them just to get cops in the neighborhood. And so being more mature, I was able to process that. Like, I was more mad at the people who were my people. Right. I mean, family members that were like talking hella shit, man.
Right. Well, that's hurtful, brother.
It is, man. Because I was hurtful, like, man. Hold on. You do realize, like, as you're hurting for what's going on, like, I'm here, like, the community demanded representation. Latino cops stepped up. Like, this ain't an easy job. Like, we stepped up, and then you fucking leave us on this island when we need you. Like, it wasn't the protest that messed me up, and it wasn't the scrutiny. It was like, all right, man, well, maybe, hopefully, like, for Kansas City, we've been doing some good things, man. And so that reinforces it. We need to keep doing those things. For some police departments that maybe weren't doing good things, maybe they're like, hey, we need to change our ways. And then for those ones that just won't change, man, well, it's coming, like, you're going to have to change and at least listen and do whatever. Like, I've always been proud of this police department for years. They're like, hey, man, we don't know how to serve that demographic, but we need to bring them to the table so we could be more efficient instead of just trying to do it ourselves. Then it takes us longer to give people service. So there's a lot of stuff, man, in there that, but it still made me a better officer. And I appreciate what this department has tried to do since that, man, because it was COVID. It was Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of things going on. And so to those officers that stuck around, all those officers that stuck around, man, like, shout out to them, because they could have bounced, and they understood, like, hey, they're going to need us when we come out of this, So there's a lot of minority officers bounced out because they got it the hardest, man. And in my experience, like, they got it real hard, man. When we were standing on the line, man, when we had to mount up and go down there, man, like, you're getting like bricks and bottles of piss thrown at you. Wow. And you're just trying to understand, like, I know this OG's angry, but why is this little dude angry, dude? Like, who are you with? Like, who did you talk to? And what do I represent to you? Like, how does that change? Because sometimes if we take a radical approach, no matter what spectrum of the political thing you're on, if we take a radical approach, sometimes what you end up doing, just to say you did, you end up burning a bridge that you didn't build. There's people in these communities, in the minority communities that have helped build these bridges so they could have better for people coming up under them, you know. And there's people who've laid down the path. And I'm not just talking about West Side in Argentina. I'm talking about, you know, East of Truce, man, that have really established like the Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm like, if you're a young person trying to do right, you know, whatever that means to you, be radical, be whatever you want. But if you're just down there to take a selfie because you're feeling guilty that you haven't done none of that your whole life, man, go get educated first, because we can use everybody, right? The police department, you that ate up about something. Let's work together to make things better, because we don't want kids getting killed.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely,
we
bro.
don't. We want just. We're the face of justice.
Right.
But so it was hard, man. And I'm not at all. Anybody who marched, man, go be heard, man. Go show up.
But do research.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because some people organized the Black Lives Matter movement because they wanted better, and there's things that, you know, and then some people just hijack it as a reason to go and just wild out, man. And
I feel like, Chato, man, like hearing you talk about that, and you know what I'm reflecting on, bro, is, you know, all of us have had our own experiences even before we were adults
Yes,
with
sir.
police.
Yep.
Right.
Me
like
too.
police, bro. Like I tell people stories about shit. D-Rod, we've had stories together with police. You know, and the thing is, man, is that now as an adult, having the life I've lived since graduating high school, much like yourself, I've worked with police, and I tell people this all the time. You think whatever you want about these people, but these are the people. When the shit is on fire, when people are shooting, you're running. They're running toward it. You're running away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, man, bro, like, honestly, Chato, man, like, and you know, the thing is, man, is you said something so important. It's not about the people who are marching. It's not about, you know, the people who want their voices heard or a like on social media or whatever. It's about the people who are there for you.
Yes, sir.
That stuck through it with you. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Because you're there for us, bro.
Absolutely, man.
You know,
Try,
there
man.
for it, bro.
We try, man.
That's a salute, bro.
Yeah, I
That's a
appreciate
salute,
y'all,
man.
man.
Seriously,
Appreciate
man.
you,
Thank
bro.
you, Chato,
No,
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So back on that, bro. What do you feel like? So that's a hardship, right? That's part of the bad shit that you had to go through, and it's unfortunate, you know. But for you, what did you feel? What do you feel like helped rebuild that relations with the public, man?
You know,
Or what does it take? You know,
it takes good leaders, you know. And we had, you know, our chief right now, man. I can't say enough about her, man. I think she went to Harmon. So yeah, dude, I think she went to Harmon. I remember her.
Man, you better tell her there's a Harmon Hawk on.
So she understands, bro, and I think that takes some of that. But look, we have a lot of leaders right now that I really appreciate. Like, their motto is like, hey, if I don't understand something, like, let's bring in partners so that we could be more efficient at serving those communities, like whether it's refugees, immigrants, or people who grow up in impoverished communities or marginalized communities, whatever. She's like, really supports like how the only way we're going to get better is to do like pay attention to what works, and if something's not working, be courageous enough to change it, modify it. So I appreciate working for a department like that, man. You know, and not to go back to it, but like when you think about teachers, nurses, lawyers, doctors, anybody in a position of influence or power, like, we got to keep them accountable, man. It ain't just, you know, cops, we understand accountability. Like, we got to do it right. People trust it. You're carrying a gun. You can affect somebody's life if you're doing something shady or cutting corners, you know. Yeah. So we get that, and we have a process for holding each other accountable or somebody who's crossed the line or whatever. So, and I'm not against accountability whatsoever, man. But for sure, man, having leadership, people who promote that type of policing, that helps, man. And you know, all I want is for my neighborhood to be safer than it was when I was here, because those that came before us, they're the ones that brought us to Guadalupe Centers and the Matty Roses so that I could have something. Well, what can I do to contribute to that legacy, man? And that's all I ever wanted when I became a cop. And I get to do that every day, man.
Yeah, I think that's dope, bro. Like, you know, to me, Chato, your impact, bro, like, I mean, we've said this for a number of our guests already, man, but you in the public safety, you know, kind of world that you're in, you know, you're building that legacy, bro, for the next generation. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Because like you said, bro, earlier, like Vince, he laid that framework, that groundwork,
put that
right?
foundation
He
down
tilled
for
that
you,
soil.
man.
Take Angie's words.
Yeah.
He tilled that soil.
Yeah.
So he planting seeds, and here comes Chato coming along years later, bro.
Powerful impact, man.
Man, I owe it to him, man. And the cool thing is, like, Vince wasn't there every day. He had his thing going, but I also had black, white mentors that were like, hey, man, this guy has some grind in him. Let's help him become a detective. Let's encourage him to go over here. So, throughout that, like, Matt Tomasic, I got to mention his name while you guys are giving me this little bit of time, man, is that he's the one that changed the Can Center. That it went from a place with uniformed cops to this true community policing. And he's the one that taught me, like, hey, we just need cops that care about us, right? Mm-hmm. We really, like, representation does matter, but how cool would it be, like, it doesn't matter what color the cop is as long as they understand I'm going into the West Side. This is their culture. This is their history. And so, like, Matt Tomasic was a lesson to me. Like, I don't have to be black to serve black communities. I just got to understand what black community history has been through and understand what's going on over there so I could be a better servant to them. Right. So that was a lesson for me. And, and I'm sure Vince will tell you some of his best friends and mentors were probably white cops or white commanders.
He did say that.
But we do have a history on KCPD of the Latinos, man, looking out like, hey, watch out for the younger ones. Because this department is important for the department. They're the ones telling us representation matters to us. Can you help us with these younger Latino cops? So
yeah, Chato, you mentioned the Can Center a couple times, man. For those people that do not know, right? Because there's some out there. I mean, we got pretty big following. It stands for the Community Action Network,
yes,
right? Westside Can Center, man. And we gonna talk a little bit about that. What is that?
Yeah, so back in the late 90s, I think, is when there were some grants that came down from the I think it was during the Clinton era, actually. But there were some grants that came down from the government to say, hey, we got this idea of putting substations in these highest crime neighborhoods. And so all the cities got to apply for those. I think Kansas City got like 5 of them initially, something like that. Yeah. And they're spread out all over the city. And it was as long as the grant was going, then you can do these. The problem was, like, every division that got one had their own vision of what that needed. So, hey, the community's saying we really need to do something about these stolen autos. So you just send these cops out to find stolen autos. And for the Can Center, on the West Side, it was just its own thing going on down here, man. We were the highest crime neighborhood for a long time. Like, we had the highest volume of 911 calls, and so they're like, we need to put 2 Latino cops down there because they're Latino, and so. But the problem with that was, like, there was no book on community policing because 911 was taken over, man, and it was like, you got to go answer those calls. So for those 2 first Latino cops that got here, the book, all they had was their training. There was no way to know, like, how do we do this? So they were like writing tickets and they were doing all this stuff and not knowingly, like, this is what they're trained to do to reduce crime. It was making life down here harder for us because we already had the gang culture. We had the drug culture down here. We had a lot of violence in Kansas City during that era. Yeah. I mean, on the West Side in particular. And then we had that day labor pool growing because of certain government policies. That's another episode. We started getting more immigrants coming to the West Side, so there was no jobs for them. So there's all this thing going on the West Side, and it was one of the highest crime areas. So when Matt Tomasic got down here, he was like, we got to do things different. Like, I need to learn how to speak Spanish. Like, I got to get to these people down here, let them tell me, what do you want me to do? Because I could write tickets all day. I could put people in jail all day. But what's going to help this community? So he got with some community organizers. They're like, what? He's a 6'1" Croatian white dude from Wyandotte County, bro. And he came down here with that mindset in his heart and just changed, man. Everybody started supporting him. So
he wanted to help everybody.
So people started telling him, like, here's the problem over here. We fixed this. All this other shit would be all right, right? And so when I got down here, I was like Tackleberry, bro. I came from like East Patrol. I was like, man, I got to make this place safer, man. I'm got to make up, man. And it was already, bro, man, like, and I had the relationships, but people were still looking at me, but we don't know. We know him. We know what he's about. You're wearing a uniform. Like, you still had to prove it to us. So, and that was a blessing to me because I came down here with my training too. Like, I was the only Latino in my police academy. I got to show them I could work harder, run faster. And I almost came down here and did ill, man. If it wasn't for this, Thomas was like, hey, bro. He was like, you're home. He was like, you're home.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, so what we're going to do? He's like, well, we're going to go mow this lawn over here. I was like, what's up?
What?
Yeah, bro. I was like, I got product in my hair, man. I got a college
Mr.
degree.
Miyagi,
I got a guayabera on, bro.
I got a college degree, bro. Like, I mean, I know it took me 4 years to get my 2-year Penn Valley degree, but still, man. Like, he was like, nah, bro. Man, check it out, man. Miss Hernandez over here, right? She lives by herself. She got broken into last night. I'm going to be honest with you. We ain't going to find out who did it. There's no cameras, no lights. But I figured if we would just mow all this shit down, clean up her yard, man, people won't think that some people think somebody lives there. I'm like, damn, that's some different type of science. Yeah. He was all into environmental science, man. We fixed this light over here, man. Put a lock on this thing, man. Dudes will go on to the next neighborhood. Right. So we started helping people do that kind of stuff. Like if they're a senior citizen, we mow their lawns, paint their codes, whatever. We'd help them fix stuff. Yeah. It was crazy. Yeah. And you started to see like crime reduce because when the trust goes up, we get more information. Mm-hmm. And then with that information, it wasn't about casing people up. It was about finding that young kid and then getting them connected to a school if he dropped out or if somebody lost their job and they're wilding out. Okay, well, let's help him find a job. Yeah. So that was his science, man. That was him.
And it worked, brother.
Yeah, so that's what we still do now. We try to assess a 911 call and be like, hey, what can we do with this? So that, because jail ain't going to fix everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But there are some people in this community like, hey, we still need accountability. If that dude's like, if he's shitting on the block, man, then we need to hold him accountable. Like, we can't have this dude stealing our cars. All right, well, yeah, we got jail. We still got jail. That's a tool.
Yeah.
So they gave us permission to write people up or case somebody up because they were the ones in charge. We used to be, the way I say, we used to be an occupying force because we thought like, hey, if I write enough tickets, people will chill out, or if we put people in jail, that's going to make things go. But it did just perpetuated some of the issues where people didn't need that. Yeah. So when they started telling us, hey, that dude needs to go, and that's the guy, and we're over here trying to clean this.
Habitual offender, kept on doing shit.
And
then that would also, I'm assuming naturally that just built that relationship better, man. With
absolutely. And even then, bro, I roll up on a dude like, hey, man, here's what the law says, bro. It's a domestic violence deal. You put your hands on your lady. I don't know what you're dealing with, bro. Like, you have to go to jail tonight. This doesn't define you. I said, but when you get out, we're going to get some kind of counseling. We'll get you some kind of like therapy, whatever you need, man. If you feel like this ain't your best one, you still want to be a husband or father. Like, and we're going to tell her the same thing. Like, is this something that's going on, or is this something that's like, hey man, he lost a job because of COVID, and we've just been struggling with the bills. All right, we got something for all that, so that we don't have to come back. But tonight, that's just what the law says. You got to go spend a night in jail. Then you got to talk to the Texas tomorrow. Then you get a court date, and we figure it out from there. So even if I'm putting my handcuffs on somebody, I still treat them with dignity. Right. And that's all. Again, like,
that's community, bro.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
That's community, man. I mean, what's that guy's name?
Matt Thomasik.
Matt Thomasik. Is he still around?
Yeah, so he retired and he opened up the PAL unit in Kansas City, Kansas. He owned his church. Yeah. He owned his church, and he went to KCK. He's like, I got all these kids in my neighborhood. I got nothing to do. If you find me a boxing coach, and I'll find the money. He put together his board. They found his money to put like boxing gyms in there. They put workout art spaces, and he just created this community. Wow. And man, they got like 60 kids a night going there, learning how to box or shoot rifles downstairs, like air rifles or bow and arrow. I mean, he got this little bike program where they get to fix their lowriders. Yeah. Then if they get good grades at the end of the year, they get to keep them. Wow. So like, it's badass, man, what he's got going on.
We got to holler at that.
Yeah, man. Yes. That's what I was about to say, man.
Man. He took everything he did here on the west side and said, but when he retired, he just kept grinding, man. I was like, hey, I hope you guys don't hate me for this, but when I retire, bro, I'm buying a fishing pole, man. And I'll maybe go sweep the gym for him, man. But like, but God bless him, man. Like, that's real shit. Man. Like, he wasn't Latino. He wasn't Latino, right?
Yeah. That's dope, bro.
Yeah, man.
Hearing you talk about, your career in policing, Chato, like you've definitely had a lot of highs, great people helping you, influence you, bro. Yeah. And some lows, obviously, which we talked about. Man, my guess is, bro, you have a crazy ass cop story, bro. I mean, you gotta have.
Is there anything you want to say?
I could tell. So I got some funny ones.
You tell whichever one you want, bro. I know you got one.
I'll tell you the crazy ones, and it'll maybe be a PSA for some folks, man, so they can pay attention.
Yeah. Pay attention to this one.
So I was a fraud detective, and we got a call on this dude's like, hey, man, I think somebody stole my identity, dude. I was getting ready to get married, and I went to go get my license, man. They're like, I owe all this debt. Like, there's warrants after me. I was like, wow, are you sure? Like, I was like, well, let's do a check. I was like, have you ever lived down in it's one of those cities south of us near Belton? I was like, have you ever lived there? He's like, nah, man. I was like, you know anybody who lives down there? He's like, yeah. I have an ex-girlfriend, her little brother lives down there. I was like, no. I said, why would he have access to your stuff though? Like you're already, how long was it that you dated her? He's like, oh, it's been years. He's like, you know what? I let him use my ID to go to Westport like 5 years ago, and he said he lost it, that they took it away. I was like, oh, all right. So then we started doing research, man. This dude went and got a pilot license. He opened up all these credit cards, man.
Holy shit.
This wasn't the worst, bro. So we're like, all right, we're going to go down there and figure this out. So we called him cops, like, hey, we're going to meet you down there. We got to talk to this dude. We got to bring him into your station and see what's up, man. Charge him up, whatever. Because he ruined this dude's life. Like, this guy, his credit score. Yeah. And he's getting ready to get married. And she's like, you're lying. You're telling me all this stuff. Like, you got all this debt. We go down there, and I knock on the door. I'm like, is Gary there? She's like, I don't know Gary. And I was like, what? Well, I guess he don't live here. And I was like, wait a minute. No way he got married. And so I was like, is Steve here? She's like, yeah, Steve. So he got married in that dude's name, bro. Like, and then she was like, Steve Jr., go get Steve. Like, I was like, you even named your kid Jr. after this guy. Like,
damn, he took a whole new identity.
He took a whole, I mean, he named his kid, bro. He named his kid after this guy who stole the identity from him. I was
That's
like,
insane,
oh my God. So remember,
and the girl
everybody,
didn't even know he was Gary.
check your credit, shred all your papers, man. There's some scandalous people out there. I felt so bad for him, but you know, I could tell that story right now. Like, damn, that poor cat.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Can you talk to my fiance?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm happy to let her know like where the investigation went if you want." Man. But so he had to go do all this, like fix his credit and also put all this credit alerts on his stuff. So
man,
that one was crazy. Like I got one where I had just. Well, after you get out the academy, you get somebody that trains you for about 5 weeks, man. Mm-hmm. And they're with you, you're answering calls with them, and all of a sudden they let you go. They're like, all right, you're done with breaking, you're on your own.
Oh, man.
So I'm like, man, I'm going to go eat, man. I'm going to go find me someone with a big warrant, you know. I'm going to go make a name for myself. And I'm driving around and I see this person, let's just call her Linda, and she was a big time, she had these big warrants because she was a prostitute on Independence Avenue. She's always breaking into stuff, stealing stuff. And the community hated her because when the kids were at the bus stop, she'd still be out there
doing her thing.
So I remember that name. Like, hey, this is one of the ones that the community's been asking. I was like, hey, you guys got to do something about it. And we knew she had big warrants. So I'm like, I'm going to go out here and find Linda, man. I'm like driving around and like, oh my God, there she is, man. She's a little whacked out, already on drugs. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna make this arrest, bro. I'm gonna impress everybody. Yeah. And I roll up and I'm like, hey Linda, what's up, man? So I run her on my radio. I'm like, hey, what's up? She still got that warrant? Like, yeah, she got. So I put her in handcuffs, man. I put her in the car because at first I was like, hey, is there a wagon? They're like, no, ain't no wagon available right now, bro. I'm like, okay. I'll just transport her, right? I'll just put her in my car, buckled her in. But what we do, like if you're going to transport a female, you're like, hey, I'm on my way to the station and I got a female. This is my beginning mileage, you know, just to kind of cover yourself.
Right.
So I'm getting ready to go, and all of a sudden I hear a beep, hold the air, and that's what we do when like somebody else isn't getting ready to get into something hot. They're like, nobody on the mic, we're getting ready to go into this building. So I pulled over. I'm like, all right, I'll wait to put myself out on her. So I could go to the station. I didn't want to, I'm new. I don't want to mess around getting a wreck while she's in the car. Like, what are you doing with her in the car?
Yeah.
So I'm waiting for them to clear the air, and I'm just kind of daydreaming, I guess. And I heard my door go, and I look up, I'm like, oh my God. And she's running down the street in my handcuffs, bro. And I'm like, oh, this is my first day out on by myself, man. So I'm like, oh, hell no, right? So I turn the pit bull on, man. I jump out my car and I'm running full speed. I'm like, she ain't gonna outrun me. She's got handcuffs, right? But then
little did you
my spidey sense, like I'm running and I'm closing in. I'm like, oh shit, I left my car running. So I turn back. It's like 9th and Benton at 2 o'clock at night, bro, in the morning. 9th and Benton. I see my car a block away with the engine. My doors are open. And I see her running away, and I just started like, oh man, I gotta let her go, bro. Like either you got bounced by Linda or somebody stole your cop car. I chose the car, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, man, I went back and I got in my car, air had cleared, and I'm like, I said, sorry. I called my sergeant on the phone. Thank God she was super nice, but she gave me some shit. I said, I need you to come to the scene. She's like, where's your arrest, man? I thought you had that big cash. Like, we're getting ready to throw your party, bro. Like, everybody's talking about, my man made an arrest. We've been looking for this girl. Yeah. So they're already trying to celebrate because, hey, the new kid, man. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
And she's like, where'd she go? I'm like, I gotta tell you this story, man. So I told her what happened, and she's just laughing, and I'm embarrassed, man, because I think I'm this alpha badass young dude, you know. Yeah. And she's laughing. I was like, oh, sorry. I was like, but I made the right choice. Like, oh, you made the right choice, man, because you could get fired if somebody steal your police car.
Yeah,
you know?
man.
And so she was like, just go back and write her up for another warrant for stealing your handcuffs. And I was like, that's my retribution. All right, yeah, I'll do that, man. Yeah. So I get back, and people are waiting for me, like clapping, like, yeah, man, you lost a foot chase to a fat chick or whatever. to say, man. Oh, bro. It was messed up, man. So,
oh, man.
I got
That's
some,
a good one.
You know, I got
That's
some,
a good one.
you know, there's some stuff that,
I'm sure.
but I got one more for y'all, man. And it's a little bit funny. Then I got a real cool one that's about Matt Tomasic. I had a new guy with me. They're like, hey, we want to put the new guy with you, Chato, because, you know, you work hard and we want him to learn how to go find warrants and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. And I'm still working in Northeast, middle of the night, dog watch at the time. So put this cat in the car with me and we're getting, and it's like, when we're blacked out, that means like the 911 calls are stacked up on us. That means there ain't no time to go to the bathroom, get lunch, like try to get through your calls and get to the next one.
Oh, wow.
So they put out disturbance on Independence and Benton again, and these two cats are arguing. Young dudes are like in their 20s, no shirts on. I'm like, oh man, here we go. So we get out. I'm like, hey man, chill out, man. What's going on? And they're like, man, Pookie, man, he said that if I gave him $5, he was gonna buy some weed. And then he took my $5 and he didn't bring back no weed. And he was like, man, Ray, I told you I was gonna give you some tomorrow. And I'm like, are you kidding me, bro? And then so the new kid's like, what do we do? Do we arrest one? I'm like, yeah, I got this one, bro. I was like, all right, check this out. I was like, Ray, man, you did Pookie wrong, bro. You did Pookie wrong, man. I said, I'll tell you what, though, I ain't got time, man. I got time for this, so I promise. Hey, I was like, Ray, you promise tomorrow you gonna bring the weed, right? You gotta find the weed, Ray. Don't make me come find you. No, I'll get them later tonight, man. I just got hungry. I spent the money. I was like, all right, Pookie, is that cool with you? He's like, yeah, man, if he brings it tomorrow, man, but if not, can I call you? I was like, yeah, man, just call 911 and you pour the steel in. I was like, because I was like, I had pride, like, I need to get through this and get to the next call, you know, because people who really need us are calling. Yeah. And some people just call because they thought they were going to get in a fight. And so we get in the car and this new cat's like, he's nervous. He's like, what kind of report do we take? What do we do? I was like, nah, man, that's how we do the West Side Shuffle, bro. Like, sometimes, I call it the West Side Shuffle. It's like, sometimes, man, you just got to use your best judgment, man. Like, don't violate no policy. This ain't really disturbance. They're not going to fight, man. We just got to get to the bigger thing, man, because people need us right now.
It reminds me of, bro, like, honestly, you ever seen those clips where, like, people take 911 calls like, I'm calling on Taco Bell. They didn't put no meat, enough meat in my taco.
You'd be surprised on some of the stuff they call. But unfortunately, some people like try to call and say there's a gun involved just to get us to go.
Right.
And it's usually just kids playing in the park. I mean, that's bad. So we got to really just watch ourselves. We got to be safe, but we also got to understand that some people like will insert some information just to get us there. So we're coming in hot, and you know, and that's why like a lot of stuff that happens.
Yeah.
Because I think we're trained really well to like, hey, identify the threat before you act on the threat, but just be aware, be safe. You know.
I think, bro, you're talking about something that a lot of people don't know. Yeah. Like the mentality, you guys are up and down.
Yeah. You go from 0 to 100 to back down to 0.
Right? Man, you got to really be able to manage that, find a way to cope with it, man.
I mean, and I think that goes again, man, back to that mental health, man. You gotta have that shut off button, and know when to shut it off, and know when to turn it on. And for some people, man, that's in your profession. That's challenging.
Yeah, it was. You know?
The training, Chato, I gotta imagine from when you came in to now, it's gotta be almost night and day different.
It is, you know, and that's a credit to our like our academy. Like they're always researching what is the current affair, how can we apply that to? Because even if that means this academy is going to get a certain training, but like this next academy, we're going to give them something else because we're starting to see this other thing happen. So I appreciate how much they try to stay innovative with what's going on. Yeah. Now they're training us like crisis intervention. Yeah. Like, they're training us on a lot of stuff. There's a lot. There's a lot.
That's a lot going on. I wanted to back up a little bit, man. I heard you say something about the day labor.
Yeah.
Force, right? Yeah. Something with the Can Center.
Yeah.
And those are, if I'm not mistaken, more of the undocumented.
I don't know. I don't ask, bro. But
right. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is what it is, brother.
Yeah.
And I mean, you help with people that are from other countries, where regardless where they're from, man. You want to talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, man. So that was a Matt Tomasic thing. So forever on the west side for like the last 60 years, down where the liquor store is. Yeah. Anytime we get like newcomers coming here to the city, they would stand out on the corner looking for work. You know, like people would roll up on them from all over Leawood, Johnson County, north of the river. Hey, I need my grass cut, I need this house painted, clean out my garage. It was just like low skilled, no skilled labor, and they're happy to do it, man. They negotiate a price and they go and they come back. What happened was after NAFTA, we noticed like the United States in general, a bunch of immigrants started coming here because they were losing a lot of, based on some of the things that happened with that policy, there were a lot of people losing their jobs at the border. So they just started coming into Chicago, on their way to Chicago or somewhere else, and they would land in Kansas City. So that little spot for the West Side that used to be, 8 to 10 dudes at one time just looking for work from the community when they first got here, went to about 50, 75 to 100 sometimes. So that created a lot of problems because there's not enough jobs to go around. And then the career criminals like would come and rob them after they come back from work, or they come and they try to sell them drugs to help them cope. Oh, man, just hit this real quick. I'll give this one to you for free. You know how they do it, like get them hooked up, because now if you don't have a job now, then you're failing in your home country. You can't send money home and you're failing here. So their psyche, man, they're like trying to cope with that. They're homeless. They don't have a place to use the restroom. So for the West Side, there was a lot of 911 calls that came out because they were going into restaurants to use the restroom. Or then some of them started shoplifting, breaking into cars because they just not enough jobs to go around, and that, it wasn't an excuse. But the West Side people were like, man, we can't have this. So what Matt Tomasic did was he said, hey, listen, from now on, somebody complained to his chain of command, like, hey, the West Side smells like piss. We went down to eat a taco. Y'all need to fix that. It was from the mayor's office. They came to the chief sent it down to Matt's supervisor. Matt was like, well, I've been working out here for 2 years, man. I don't know what else to do. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to let them use my bathroom. And at least I could solve that issue. So he went out there, he grabbed a guy, you speak Spanish and English? He's like, yeah, come here. Tell these cats I'm done. We're not deporting nobody. We're not doing none of that stuff. I just want to know if you guys need to take a piss, come inside my office, man. I'll put a pot of coffee on and a pot of beans. That way you guys can have something to eat before you go to work. And so the guys are like, oh, that's badass. So they started working for him as far as like letting them know who the guys were that were breaking into cars, who were the guys that weren't here to work. They were just here to mess around in the neighborhood, right? So he had these citizens of the community, these guys that were just organically like deputized themselves because they were loyal to Matt because he took care of them. Anytime they got robbed, he would go find a dude, get their money back, arrest somebody for them. And they didn't think they had those rights because they're, undocumented or whatever. Right. So he gained their trust, and then the community saw him treating them so good that they started donating food. They started like giving him like, hey, we trust you, man. We want to work with you. So he became real successful at solving violent crimes down here. So this community went from a mentality of like, man, that's just the way it is down here to, hey, man, we got a partner on the police department. We don't have to take that crap. We can hold our neighbors accountable when they're doing stuff that, so he was able to chop it up with people. And so by the time I got down here, man, my man had already put in work. I took us to another level because I knew the kids and I knew the parents, and they started coming to us with more stuff. But man, he's the one where like organic, when you see the economics of a community, if you're in a high crime area, you have low property value and high insurance. If you start to reduce the crime, just in reducing the crime, your insurance rates go down, your property value goes up, and now you got economic power. Now you're sitting on equity. So there's a lot of social studies being done, like on how when a community has a relationship with their police department, they work together instead of us just coming down here like an occupying force, arresting people or towing cars or whatever we do to try to alleviate crime. Then we're more successful and we're actually helping the people. So that was a Matt Tomasic thing again. So that CAN Center, to answer your question, so now they know that a Latino cop is there, that a Spanish speaker is there. So we get people from all over the city, even Kansas, that say, hey, we just need some help. So we become a clearinghouse. Oh, you guys got El Centro in Kansas City, Kansas, man? Go. I'll give you the number, and they're real cool there. Or you could go to Guadalupe or Matty Rose, and they can help you out. Or I can call like the federal agents, like, hey, this guy got hired to do a job. They owe him $5,000, but it wasn't in Kansas City. Then the feds are like, yeah, man, the Department of Labor, they don't care about status either. So we got federal partners that are helping out. Like, yeah, man, let us know. So there's this trust that gains. So now these guys, what they started doing was volunteering for us. They're like, hey, man, we got dignity, dude. We don't just want your food or your bathroom. How can we help out? Because by noon, the jobs quit coming. So we take them around the community and paint over graffiti. We help them, like, if you got a senior citizen that can't mow their lawn, the codes inspector will call us like, hey, I got this house. I don't want to give her a ticket. So we mobilize these cats. On the first day that happened, though, man, I didn't know. I didn't know they were on our side, man. I knew that the office was there, and I come down there, and I'm like, man, I'm going to clean this neighborhood up, bro. I'm going to make it safe for these peewees. So we have our parks back. And Matt was like, hey, man, we got to go do this thing at Miss Gonzalez's house. And I get in the truck, and these dudes jump in the back. I was like, oh, damn, dude. Because when I was a little kid, I mean, you knew from being around here. Yeah. That was a gauntlet at the liquor store. That was our grocery store, but all these drunks out there. It's like, you don't know who's who. Yeah. So we'll go walking through. I had this kid inside of me. I was like, I hated that, man. I hated walking through the piss and walking under the bridges to get to Sacred Heart, and it smelled. And I didn't realize he, just by being compassionate to these folks, he cleaned all that up. Yeah. And so I came down here with the mentality, like, I remember when I was a kid, man, I want these kids to be able to walk under these bridges without it smelling like piss or having some dude like harassing them. Right. And it was already done, bro. And I was looking at these cats like, who are these dudes? And he's like, oh, no, they're with us, bro. They're going to help us chop it up so you don't mess up your pretty hair. I'm like, man, come on, man.
Man, Chato, to that end, man, like one of the things we were talking about with you before we started this was the police academy in Spanish, the Citizens Academy. Sorry. Yeah. Can you talk about that, bro? Like your involvement in that?
Yeah, a couple years ago, I think it was 2 years, the police department did this thing with like, hey, we have this one in English where the citizens can come, they can sign up and come for a few weeks and get all this cool information on how to either report crime, apply for a job, or enroll your kid into this program, or just stuff for victims. They're like, but our department's like, we really should do one in Spanish because that demographic's growing. It's still growing. It's always been here in Kansas City and it's getting bigger. So they had Officer Edwin Gordillo. He coordinated one and got together with Matty Rhodes and some churches. Okay. And he had like 30 people show up. I'm like, oh, man, that went really well. Yeah. So a couple of years later, there's a new chief. She's like, man, I remember we did that program. And so she reached out to our unit, Lisa Seidenstick, Officer Seidenstick. Yeah. And he asked her, they're like, hey, can you guys put one together? So I heard her talking about it. I was like, hey, man, I'd love to help you. Let's put something together. So right now what we're doing is going to be every Thursday night at the Matty Road Center that's on North Topping. I don't remember their address, but you can find that information on our website. Every Thursday night, we're going to have a dinner, and then we're going to do a couple of classes so that they can get the feel, like, because Saturday morning, like the only Saturday we had available was like Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, nah, my people, we like family time, so we didn't want to do that. So we're going to do this every Thursday night in June, and basically everything presented in Spanish so that they can ask questions, how they can participate, how they can I got my kid can go to PAL, learn how to box or get homework assistance, or hey, if you want to come and apply for our department, here's all the benefits we got, here's the hiring process. And we got some cool stuff like the drones going to come do a demonstration, the canine come down and have the dogs there just so people could get to know us, and that they feel like, hey, you have a right to be protected and served too, regardless of language barrier or citizenship. Like you live around here, you work, play in Kansas City, man, we got you.
That's dope, bro.
What's that website, brother?
Yeah.
KCPD.org, man. It's
KCPD.org, and then they click around there.
Yeah, click around there. And then if you look at our Instagram and our Facebook, and I'm pretty sure we're all over TikTok and all those places. KCPD's website, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. They're gonna start blasting it on there. So I'll make sure, after this podcast, that we have all the flyers and stuff available. There's flyers. We got them at Los Alamos. We put some in different spots around the different communities where we anticipate people who speak Spanish, so they can contact. I think the website's probably be the best place to go.
I think it's dope, bro. One of the things that I tell people just in my life and my career is we're talking about a demographic of people that have increased significantly in numbers who provide to our city, our community, our society in such positive ways. Yeah, man. And they come from countries that don't rely on the police. No. They don't rely on city things to get them through. They just know how to make it work. Yeah. So to come here and they're like, oh, this is a resource? I didn't even know I can call 911 because I'm afraid or something's happening, or whatever, right? That's powerful, brother.
Yeah, no, big shout out to my police department. They're the ones that approached us and says, hey, man, this thing happened. It was successful. We would like to see that again. Yeah. And they're the ones that are very proactive because they understand. Again, Stacey Graves, our chief, she says, any community that doesn't have a relationship with their police department, regardless of demographic or area of the city, they're more vulnerable to crime.
Yep.
And then it's going to take us
100%.
longer to solve those crimes. So we're not going to be successful either.
100%,
so
bro.
she's all about like, let's get out there and get these relationships and make sure that everybody feels like they can participate in the process.
Man, shout out Chief Graves,
great,
man,
man.
for real.
Oh, man,
She's a Harmon Hawk.
Yeah, she's a
Man,
hard
you
rock,
know what
bro.
that is,
Yeah.
man.
That's
That's a salute,
man.
man.
That's a salute,
That's a
man.
salute, man.
That's a salute,
I want to
man.
get her on here.
Man, y'all bring the good stuff, bro.
Man, I told y'all was. Man. That's a good man. We got some Blanco Reposado and some extra Anejo, man.
D-Rod, he don't let down, man.
Man, he came through for sure, man. Little liquid therapy never hurt nobody.
One of the things, Chato, man, I mean, you know, we asked Vince this, and he said, man, you know what? I heard you're going to have somebody on here. You need to ask him that question. And I said, okay, bet. So I wrote it down to ask you. You're out here now, man.
Mm-hmm.
You got a great career behind you. I don't know how much more you got in front of you, bro. Only you do.
Getting close.
But
Yeah, it's
the
close up,
thing
man.
is, man, is, you know, we still, today and into the future, obviously, we need people like you to come into this this workforce, right?
Yeah, man.
What is your recruitment? What in terms of like, what do you do specifically, bro? Like, what are you saying to these kids?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, the first thing like that we do is like, I mean, I go to a lot of schools, you know, because some of these kids, like that was us. That was all of us sitting here, like struggling with just school, man, right? And just where do they see themselves in life? And then with the social media stuff, like putting all the stuff in their head, like everybody could be an influencer. Like I go there and the first, what meant something to me, like I grew up like single parent, man, and we didn't have much. We weren't poor because we had food. Our
Right.
clothes was clean. I'll never say that we grew up poor.
Yeah.
But we didn't go on vacations. We didn't have a lot of things. I didn't have the Nikes, man. Sometimes I wore Pro-Wings, man. I was like that.
We
I
all
was-
did, bro.
Yeah,
We all got those,
Come on.
man.
Oh, my mom got that raise. I got the Eagles, bro.
There we go. There we go.
But so I see these kids and I talk to them in their language. I talk to them in my mother tongue, and they see themselves. And we got some incredible talent after these kids that want to do this. And they see us. They don't see us as a threat, man. Like I thought, like after all the protests and everything, that like nobody's gonna want this job. But man, places like Guadalupe Center, at one time Cristo Rey, and other school districts, man, partners, they're like, hey, I got a large Latino population. You want to come to like career day? I make sure that I talk to them in Spanish. I let them know, like, you get paid more if you speak Spanish. They're like, what? And to them, it's like money. Like a lot of kids are like, I just don't want to be poor no more.
Right.
I was like, well, let me tell you what we make coming in, and let me tell you what it's going to cost. You know, like I was like, dude, I got a 2-year degree from Penn Valley, man. I make more than, you know, not bragging, but just talking about opportunities. Like most teachers need like 3 or 4 master's degrees, and we get paid more than teachers, and they're the ones in the grind, man. Like they got all these certifications, whatever. All you need to be a police officer is a high school diploma, and obviously, you know, a good track record. And so I try to get ahead of them, and when we get kids coming at us, you know, we just got to be present, and we got to do a good job. Like Matt Tomasic is a white dude that policed the Latino community, but he did it in a way with so much respect, compassion, and empathy that Latino kids want to be cops because of him. So like, even if we don't have representation, like if policing, if people in policing do it right, people would want it. Like your favorite teacher probably wasn't Latino, right?
Right, she
But
wasn't.
like you remember that person that looked at you like a person with dignity, and you're like, I would want to be a teacher like that person. Well, I'm gonna tell you where I learned my lesson from. 15 years old, my boy Jose got killed in a drive-by shooting right here on Penway down the street where the library is at now. And me and a couple of my boys were sitting at that park across the street from his house where we used to play ball. We used to clean up the glass and do whatever. And this cop would always come by when we're throwing the ball and popping, and he'd be like, and he'd sit out there and eat sunflower seeds listening to his radio because he just wanted to watch a couple of kids play ball.
Yeah.
And then he'd take off. Well, that night after he got killed, we were all down there plotting, man. We're all like, man, this is what it is, you know. Then we never got into that stuff, but we had access to guns. We're like,
absolutely.
well, is this it then? Or we got to finally, like, you know, I mean, we grew up West Side. That's just the way it is down here. And we were contemplating it. This dude pulled up, man. And he went over there. He's like, why aren't you guys playing ball? We're like, man. He was like, I heard, because that's his area. He was like, I heard what happened to Jose, man. Like, do you think he wants you guys out here plotting or playing ball? Like, you going to do his name and his family like that? Like, you guys really going to go and go do your thing now? And I was like, in his name, dude? Like, that dude was the one that got you guys to come out here to play. Like,
Wow.
Jose was the one that would get all the scrubs, man. And because, like, we weren't good enough be on the teams that were in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't want to put that organization on blast, but I got some resent. We weren't good enough to be on their teams, so he would get us together and teach us how to play so we could go play against those teams. And the first time we beat them, I remember they didn't shake our hands, but we won't have to. I love them now, but that was Jose, man. That was Jose, right?
Yeah.
He would get all peewees together and we would play ball, man, and he put that in my head, and we're like, so that after that day, we're like, well, it's getting dark. And he climbed up this pole, man, and there was a box, and he popped it open, and the lights came on in the park. I swear to God, I lived in this community for 15 years, never knew we had lights in the park, bro.
Wow.
We would always leave. He would pull up and be like, it's time to go. And we knew because it got dark on West Penway. Time to bounce out, bro, because stuff happens down here at that time.
Yeah, night.
It's just not a cool place to be. And that's what happened to Jose. Car rolled up, lights went out, and...
rest in paradise, man.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. But that cop challenged us, like, don't ruin his legacy. And after that day, we didn't talk about it, bro. Like, we mourned. I dropped out of school,
Right.
because I was just trying to cope with it, trying to make sense of it. But then, we all went on and did some beautiful things with our lives. It was around us. We love those cats, and they respect us. But that day, there's like, it's almost like kept us for a reason why we never got into that dirt or the stuff that some of our cousins and our family neighbors were into, because it was like that we had to keep thinking about like Jose's legacy, dude. Like he was about sports, and we used to daydream like, hey, when we go play for the Royals, we bring our kids. Or we would all say, when you make it for the Royals, you get us tickets. We ain't go. We're the scrubs, bro. Like, so it was that, and then and that's where my life began, man. Because that's when Adriana Piscina and Gilbert Guerrero intercepted me. They heard I dropped out, and they promised, like, hey, we'll get you a part-time job if you promise to go back to school. Yeah. And so that was it. The rest is history, bro. I got mentors in my life.
Powerful, bro.
Yeah. So. Yeah, man.
Hey, man.
And so I remember that cop, and I guess to answer your question. It was his gesture. He didn't know how to talk to kids, but he could turn on the light.
Yeah.
And as long as I live, I was like, I want to be that cop that turns on the light.
Shout out, bro.
Man, that's obviously, I mean, that's an emotional time, man, for anybody, especially for you to hold on to like that, man. And, that was great for that officer to do that, because that little gesture of turning on the light.
That's it.
Goes a lot bigger than just that damn light bulb.
Exactly, bro. But that was his language, right? That's all he knew.
Yeah,
and one thing that we're talking about Jose, man, who made an impact on you at a young age, right, bro? The cop turned on the light, bro. And I think we all share, and particularly you, though, man, somebody that we knew and loved. And I'm gonna let D-Rob, man, kind of spell this one out, because we've talked about G, man, on this show, Hanado, man. So I think we need to talk about that a little bit.
I saved a little bit, and I just wanted to bring him up, to you, because he meant a lot to everybody. Yeah, he did. Right? Hanado Ruiz, man. Rest in peace, brother. And I know that he's, I wanted to touch on him a little bit, man.
Absolutely.
So,
man.
I mean, man, we all get teary-eyed here, but that's all emotions.
We smile through our tears, bro.
Yeah,
we smile through our tears, bro.
So, let's talk about Hanado, man.
Let's do it.
As much as we can, man. He was always so generous, man. Always had a smile. Did so much, man. And the one thing that when we started this, right? Damn.
He's on the list, bro.
He would have been the first, bro.
Yeah.
He would have been one of the first people.
He would have been right there, brother. Right
Just
there,
like
man.
you, he would have been an automatic, I'll do it.
Yeah. Share something, man.
So Hanado's the guy that I would call every time I wanted to quit. He was the one that, like, man, you can't, because we need you when we come out of this.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, my car broke down the day before the academy, bro. Like, I got a new job. I start tomorrow. My car went shit, man. Hanado was at my house for 6 months straight at 6:30 in the morning.
Damn.
And drove me to the academy, bro.
Yeah.
And because he knew, like, Hanado was one of those mentors, man. You can go down your list and everybody, from Crispin to Nanny, like he had an impact. Like he shared his space when he went to work at Sly James's office, man. He made sure that everybody was getting trained up to hand it off right. He was the guy that was, when the baton did get handed to him, man, he just created his own. It was like, hey, you know, because we got some things in our community where sometimes we don't get along, but we won't talk about that. We'll talk about the good stuff. Is that Hanado was one of the ones that was the bridge from the old school and acknowledged the history and took that history and taught it to the young cats. Like before young Latino professionals, man, there was Hanado that was doing that model, you know, that anybody who needed anything was like, I'll find somebody. If it wasn't him, he would find somebody and connect them, man. And we're the same age, man. And you know, and he was my guy. Like, if he needed something, he'd come to me. If I needed something, I mean, we were brothers, man. He was in both of my weddings. I married twice. All the rest of the cats from the first wedding, I was like, y'all can't come. Y'all bad luck. But Hanado, I know it wasn't you, bro. Your vibe was. But Hanado, man, like, I want to talk about like what you guys are doing here today. Like the fact that we have this. That you guys created this format to celebrate Kansas City, you know, and to celebrate all the shine light on the things happening to people who are doing things that uplift our city, and then I love that you guys even got like the community connections too. Hanado is like the epitome of what you guys are trying to do, but you guys are getting, like you said, different states, different countries are picking this message up about people who are making a difference and grinding and shining, and like that's the one common denominator I noticed about all your guests. They're either legends who groomed other people. They're either up and comers. They're starting these businesses and sharing their progress, everybody, or they're in their prime right now doing it, man. And I appreciate you guys, man. And when D was like, I need you to come on, I was like, hey, man, the only reason why I reached out to you was to tell you keep going and keep doing what y'all doing. But when we're talking about Hanado, man, he was the frontline guy, man. And if he couldn't do it, man, he'd find a way. Like, we got you. Kids who went off to college, man, he'd help them find jobs. He would put kids in positions in the city, like appointed people. He would mentor them even on a down low, bro. Yep. He was a man who had nothing and gave everything, man. That's right, bro. Like, he didn't grow up rich. He didn't grow up, you know, but he had a beautiful family. And I don't mean nothing. I mean, like, as far as like buying power, man, economically, the man didn't die rich. Right. You know, he left us, but he gave us all that he had, man. And his legacy, like, we actually got people, anytime you mention his name, you don't even realize the impact he's made. Cause he's my comp, you know, right. And I know his impact, but God, just Kansas City, Kansas, and Missouri, right? There was
even in Arizona.
Arizona, they got a memorial for him in Arizona for what he did with that organization down there and for the people, bro.
Down there in that community center, I believe it's community center he was working at.
I think they tried to close the Can Center 3 times because of money, and he went out and found it, and he didn't have nothing to do with the Can Center, bro. Like, he's done stuff for Guadalupe. He's worked at HEDC. He's worked at Matty Rose. Like, when he passed away, we coordinated with the firefighters in the police department a tour of his body through the west side. Yeah. And I didn't even realize as I'm driving my police truck in the front, every major place that we passed by, every intersection was something he had an effect on. The murals, he helped find money for that. HEDC had an office here, and then like we went past the Tony Geary, the Reese Library, and I was like, man, like the West Side, like he has such an impact as a young man, you know, because he wasn't one of the OGs that were like marching, but he took all that and just would give it to all. Like, you think about Randy Lopez over in Kansas City, Kansas. You think about, I mean, just any name, they all have a memory of Hanado just doing something. Man, I appreciate y'all bringing his name up. I mean, we can talk about. You can have a whole cadre of people here.
My God, I know,
but man, salud, bro. Appreciate
it. Salud, Hanado, man. Honestly,
and this all goes back to what you guys are doing. And the important of what you all doing is from the get-go. Like I said, 3 episodes in, I caught you guys, and I was like, man, the legacy of what people are doing in Kansas City, where we used to be, where we're at now, and where we're headed. I mean, you guys are doing a wonderful thing that will live forever. Like I can always go to my kid and be like, hey, check out this video on this cat, or hey, the Reyes brothers story, or what they got down at Café Corazon. I mean, what you guys are doing is so important, man. And that's why I was just honored. Like, dude, I'm just super fan. Is this the episode we got the super fan? But I appreciate it, and that's why I say I'm honored, man. Thank you for bringing him up, man, because your guys' show is about everything that man lived for, bro. Lifting others up and celebrating, where the light's shining, man.
Well, thank you, man. That's a great compliment, man. To compare it with the Hanado, but that's what we try to do here, man. From the 100%. Get, leave the legacy of many people, because it's often forgotten of what people have done. People as yourself, and this is just some type of memorial to keep that forever.
Well, I mean, I feel like Chato, man, like, and we've said this to a number of people. We're talking to people like yourself, Hanado, Joe Arce. We're sitting in his office right now.
Yeah.
These are people who are so focused on giving that they don't know the concept of give or get. Sorry.
Yeah.
Get.
Or
like,
the impact that they give.
They're so focused on giving. You don't know the impact of receive, right? And so that's what really Enterrupt KC is about, bro, is we're trying to give to the givers, know? So respect, bro. And Hanado, man, I want to say something about that dude real quick. The last interaction I had with Hanado was right before he passed, bro. And of course, none of us knew he was going to pass. We thought that man was just going to live a long, healthy life. But I was doing a fundraiser for my son, and Hanado hit me up on Facebook Messenger. I still got the message, bro. I saved it. And he's like, hey, I want to contribute to your son, bro. Like, what you're doing, we're trying to do with him, man, is badass type of thing. He's like, let me just send you some money. He sent me the money, and we're catching up, like, man, how you been? Da-da-da-da, shooting the shit. I swear, bro, 2 days later, he passed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? And, man, everything you said, bro, like, I remember when he was working for Mayor Slide James, bro, he contacted me because I'm on the Kansas side, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I see what you're doing in your career, man. Let me connect you to some people in KCMO. Come over here. And he didn't want anything. He didn't want recognition. He didn't want nothing. He just wanted to help. And that, to me, is Hanado Ruiz, man. So rest in paradise, man.
Rest in
Hanado,
paradise, man, for sure, bro.
Love that dude. All right, bro. You talked about this a little bit, man, so we gonna hit on it. Bro, you do poetry. You did or you do? What does that look like, bro?
So, so in high school, Yo Raps was around. It was the early 80s,
raps,
late 80s. Yeah. So my guy was Big Daddy Kane.
Yeah.
And he was like the master of metaphors. He used to chop it up, and that was my dude. And then, like, obviously before that we had like Run DMC and all those cats. And I used to break dance too. So jam on all the stuff. But to me, as I matured, I started listening to like Poor Righteous Teachers, KRS-One, because there's storytellers and they talk about current affairs. And so in high school, we used to play Pass the Mic. I had these two dudes I was throw it down with. We were called Young Vigilantes. And the record never dropped because, the producer took, just kidding. I never got that far, but I did fall in love with writing. And I had this English teacher that was always like, every time I would skip school, she didn't want me to fail. So she was like, hey, I got a writing assignment for you. Read this book and then tell me about it. So I used to just like get into these, but she would give me some real good books to read. And I would just like throw it down, but I loved writing. And when I went to the Army, I would write like when I come back with these raps, bro. I'm like, I'm gonna find these cats and we're gonna form this in. But my raps became more like social justice stuff, and it came, and it was about like the neighborhood or Latino pride. I had a song called Linda Sangre, dude, and I was thinking like I'll sample Santana or whatever. And I want to make sure I include all the like the OG Latino music, lighter shade of brown, get you. And I had this plan, bro. And I got back, and then I just started writing, and then Jose Faust, a good mutual friend of ours told him like, hey, this cat, man, he's got some pretty cool stuff that he's put in Joe Arce's paper. It was like this tribute on Father's Day. I wrote a poem to my mom.
Okay.
And it was talking about like the father that she was to me, right?
Yeah.
And he published that. It was early on when he first started the paper. And she was like, man, Jose, maybe you come join the Latino Writers Collective. So he reached out to me. He's like, yeah, just come down. And I started reading it. They're all like master's degrees. Like, these people are like educated that know poetry history and know the difference. I don't know. I just like to write, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, just do you, and just do you. So the first one I put together for them was Brown Eyes and Blues.
Okay.
And like being around those people and then drawing from like the stuff that inspired me, man, it was like just what I'm feeling, and like the mentors and knowing about the Aztecs and the Mayans and Pancho Villa and Emilio Zapata, man. Like I had all this stuff that just, and I would just throw it down on the paper and use all these analogies that I, metaphors and stuff like Big Daddy Kane School and all this stuff, man. And they allowed me to cook, bro. And I came up with some poems that I'm very proud of. And then I got married to my current wife, and I'm like, she gave me a reason to write, bro. So I was putting stuff on Facebook, and just like, I wasn't even about publishing or anything like that. But they got me hooked up with like, hey, let's go talk to these kids. Let's go to these colleges and do these, like, let's go perform in front of them. So now I had to write performance poetries. And so I started to write haikus and try to learn the discipline of poetry. I'm like, dude, my stuff is like, I'm a hip hop poet, dude. Right, it doesn't all rhyme. Some of it's just deep, but most of my stuff is like rhythm and poetry, rap.
Right.
You got anything?
Off the dome?
Off the dome, bro. Like, or anything you memorized?
I memorized the first one I wrote that I was serious about was Linda Sangre. Now this is an 18-year-old, so this ain't
go ahead.
51-year-old Chato. So Linda Sangre is Spanish for beautiful blood. Like love, we must have been sent from up above to bring beauty to this land of the free. And I see that we are no longer a minority. Stereotype us as beans and rice. You say our people are free, but still we constantly pay the price. Back in the day, we were very much welcome because we built this country on a very low income. But times have changed. Your act is strange because you know that this melting pot is being filled with menudo. But don't complain because this wasn't your game plan. Don't put your blame for your pain on the Mexican. Just because we strive to make a living, you should be thankful for what this country's being given. Linda Sangre.
Hey, salud, bro. Shit.
That's dope, man. Dope.
You need a producer? Because I got one, bro.
Well, listen, man, I wanted, man, since you brought it up also, right? I mean, I found some stuff out about you, man.
All right.
So have you ever, the Brown Eyes and Blue, man?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to read a couple pieces,
all right, man.
Right, that you wrote that touched me. Right, when I found this out, man.
Appreciate
so it goes
you,
like this, man. In your voice. All right. Why can't I be appreciated for all I'm giving? Why am I so proud to get shot and spit at for a living?
Man, that's powerful.
A product of two immigrants, the barrio son. I bleed for the weak. Sometimes I cry for the young. The barrio calls for me. I cannot refuse. Because I know they'll be safe when brown eyes are in blue.
Whew.
Bro.
Appreciate you,
powerful,
man.
bro.
Yeah, I'm real proud of that one, man. That happened way before like the riots and stuff.
Yeah, bro.
I was still a new cop trying to figure out the two lanes I'm in. Right, I'm a proud police officer, but I got an obligation to this community, man.
Yeah, and there's much. I mean, there's much more to that. That whole poem, man, was when I read it. Got emotional because I'm not an officer, but I feel that because how I was feeling how you were feeling when you wrote it. Imagine, right? The emotions, man, the raw emotions that go with it, brother. And so, man, I applaud you for that one, man,
Absolutely.
for real. And if
Appreciate
anybody
you,
who doesn't know, or you can find it, you can see it, you can read it, man. Look it up, man. Brown Eyes in Blue, man, and it's pretty it's real.
Yeah, man.
Beautiful.
It's powerful, bro.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. And then that was just me like unpacking what I was going through. But I use that term, safe space to fall. The Latino Writers Collective created that space, man. Like I put like they're the ones that encourage me. I keep writing and they give me like suggestions and they school me on all the stuff they paid for.
Yeah.
They give it to me for free, man, and I appreciate them.
Another one that I like, and I'm not going to say it. I don't know if you've heard it, but I heard it, and it's fucking incredible, bro. It's Chela.
Chela, bro. Yeah, man. Chela's that's dope, man. That was fun, man.
Bro, no, I'm not. But anybody and everybody, man, in our audience, man. If you're a poet fan or, man, Chella, bro.
Yeah, that was fun, bro.
That one was dope.
Is the collective still together?
Yeah, man, they're doing some great things. Like they're publishing, they're doing stuff in Spanish and English. They're going to schools. They're still doing it, man. Like when I was there, our Spanish part of it wasn't as solid, but they're doing so much stuff now.
Okay.
And the only reason, like, I went through like a divorce and then my kids became teenagers. I'm like, hey, listen, I appreciate what y'all do. The biggest thing they did for me was like the Breaking Piñatas talent show. I told them about this dream of me bringing all the dancers, the poets, the musicians together from young people from our communities, Northeast Kansas, so they could just have a night to do their thing. Right. And then we'd mix in the veterans, man, like the making movies and the poets and dancers that like the Ototonico would come in and mix in with you. And they funded everything. Like they went and found the money. They went and found the spaces for that. So I owe Latino Writers Collective a lot. Even though I'm not an active member, I'm pretty sure if I was like, hey, can I come back? I got this new one. They'll be like, man, always, bro. They're doing such amazing. You can find them everywhere. But they're the ones that encouraged, and they were skilled at like finding spaces or money.
That's dope.
And we did this like 3 years in a row where we found these kids that were all in high school. I don't know if you guys know Aniceto Herrera. He was Casey's, Mr. Casey, gay Casey's Sunshine.
I think so, yeah.
But like he's gone and blown up, man. But like he was a high school student when I put him on stage, man. And and we did these plays that I wrote, man. And it was just a big old giant. It was a big talent show with like young musicians and poets. The poems that some of the kids wrote, I had them read some from people who were in prison. Yeah. Some of our people that got locked up from Kansas, Missouri. I reached out to them and said, hey, I know you guys got art and poetry. And they're like, yeah. And they had some powerful words. And these kids, I explained to them, when you read this, you got to let them know, like, these are somebody's words, And so we gave tribute to those homies, that were locked up that, they went in at young and they understand what they did, but now they got these powerful words that were going to help these young kids. Like, so it was just this big old thing. And so shout out to Latino Writers Collective, man.
Yeah, man.
They do a lot of good out there. I know Angela Cervantes, she's a well-known, you guys got to put her on the list, bro. She's publishing books. Like, she's from Kansas City, and now she's like, her books are all over now. She's selling through eBay and everything. I mean, not eBay, Amazon. Like, she's well known, like, nationwide. Okay. She was involved in, like, in the Coco movie with some of the writing and stuff. But she's one of ours, man. She went to KU. She's a
she
a badass,
definitely
man.
getting
Like, put her on the
invite.
list, bro. Like, she's well known, but she was with the Latino Writers Collective, one of the charter members that helped start that. Yeah, she's local. She's local, but she's traveling a lot, writing, and she's got these children books that she's put out. My kids grew up on those. Like, there's so many people that come out of that thing. They're doing. I mean, you guys know Jose Faust, muralist and writer. So
poetry,
he's the one that pulled me in. So Latino Writers Collective. You say that word, and I got to give him a shout out. And even though I'm not with them, or I'm doing stuff actively with them, like, they're the ones that really helped me. Like, that was a passion of mine since I was 17, 16 years old.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I've been able to hang on to it.
So you said you was a Big Daddy Kane fan.
Man, bro.
You turned into Big Daddy Chato on the writing, bro. Like, that's just powerful, bro. For real,
it is, man.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that, man.
Well, listen, man. We're gonna switch it up a little bit here, man. Just real quick. So let's talk about the city, just in general, Chato, man. The city it's on a whole nother spectrum, bro. Yeah. And, I know you've listened to some of our episodes. I mean, we've talked about this with our guests, bro, but you being here, for decades with us, I mean, what do you think, bro, when you see the city now, man?
Man, it's mixed emotions, bro, to be honest with you. Like, I'm proud of Kansas City 100, man. Like, what we're doing and where we're going. I appreciate more when we're doing it with responsibility, man, when the stakeholders have a chance to participate. There's been some things that, like, our elected officials are doing the best that they can with what they got. But one of the hard lessons that they have to learn sometimes is, like, and I'm sure they all could tell you their story of one time when they didn't include a stakeholder. and how a certain development didn't go so well for them. I mean, and the Royals could tell you right now what happened to them because something happened along the way, and everybody loves the Royals, but what happened, you know?
Yeah.
Some things got changed and some things got left out, and you know what? The people said, what's up? Like, I would love a downtown stadium. It didn't happen, but I understand why it didn't happen. I'm like, and that story needs to be told, and that should be a lesson to all the developers and the rich folks. Like, don't take us for granted, yo. Because, like, even though we love you, I would have voted yes for it, you know, but I didn't know how deep that was about some of the stuff they were pulling, man. I'm like, oh, come on, y'all could have done better than that because, you know, the people show up for y'all. And when I started hearing about, you know, them because they want to do like more expensive seats and stuff like that, and some people just weren't having it, man. And I don't think, you know, I don't want to have to get into that one in particular, but I'm a Royals fan. I was happy that the West Siders could walk to the stadium, bro. Yeah. Because we couldn't go unless one of us had a ride, you know? Yeah. And we got the cheap seats just to go see Bo Jackson play, man. Know. We had them $4 seats on Thursday night, man. Yeah. Like, who's going to get the ride, man? My mom's
And we went during losing season.
Yes. Keep that in mind. We were there cheering on Kevin Apier, Carlos Fables. You guys don't know. If you know, you know, man. When they were losing, we just wanted to see Carlos Beltran run. All we had like Carlos Beltran could run down this, he could run with grace, hit a triple, and look like he's walking the base. Like, we had Kevin Apier was our age, Jeff Supan. Like, y'all know those days when we were losing, we were still showing up. So I'm rooting for my teams. I hope they get it right. But, you know, I'm a man of the people, man, and I understand, like, you know, we gotta do it the right way, man. And sometimes, you know, sometimes the people don't get it right, man. But I'm sincerely proud of myself because, like, working on the mayor detail, security detail, I get access. I'm in the room when the shit's getting chopped up, and I don't get to say nothing. But what I can tell you with good faith that won't affect my job status is that those two mayors, Sly James and Quentin Lucas, man, they love this city, man, and they understand that they got to be able to work with everybody, man, and they don't take that for granted. There's no hidden agendas, man, but the challenge for them and how they work things out, like, they know no matter what happens, somebody's probably not going to be happy, but what they feel is what's best for the city. They're strong leaders, man, and I appreciate a lot of things about both of them, and I'm honored to serve them, and I know that their family trusts that when they're with me, you know, that I'm going to do my best to get them home, you know, and so so I have a little bit of access to a lot of that stuff that I don't get to talk about, and I'm all right with that because my integrity means a lot to me, but when I retire, watch out for the book. I'm just kidding. No, but I am proud of this city, man. And we've had some people that have really put in some grind. And even for our communities, man, that they're being brought along. You know, like you got some small business coming up. What you guys are doing, man, like putting that out there too, man. Like, hey, when was it David Lopez? Yeah. He spit some stuff about, like, after we won the World Series, what CC Rojas and all them did with Visit KC. I didn't know that these people were even involved into what they've done to get us to this place. Man. And now we're winning, you know, championships in football. Like, just the connection of, like, that, how they took that momentum. I'm like, man, here's a guy in the business world who has access, who has his information, and humbly he gave it up to some other people, man. And I'm like, dude, I could
shout out David.
Yeah, man. So that's to go back to about what's going on with the city. Enterrupt KC, that's what it's about, man. Hey. Shining the light on my city. You could tell me anything you want. Like, if you know, you know, which is why we'll hold that for later.
You like me, bro. Like, I be telling people, like, hey, yo, one day I'm going to write a book about it. But for now, just enjoy this time.
Let's go, man.
No doubt, man.
That's what's up, man. Well, look, man, we got this thing, Chato, and I don't know if you see some of our more recent episodes, but we switched it up a little bit, bro. Yeah. And hopefully it's a little bit more fun or engaging.
Let's go.
About Enterrupt KC, people, places, and things, man. So I'm gonna let D-Rod kind of start this one off, man. People, places, and things, Kansas City. And here's the thing: you pick one, you could pick both. You gotta tell a story though. Why?
All right. Here we go. We'll start off with the people one. All right. Let's go with Bobby Witt Jr. or Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh Man, why though? Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I'm gonna go with Bobby Witt. Like, props to both of them, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because the career of a baseball player goes way longer than a running back, man. And I'm gonna love Bobby like I love Jamal Charles when he was here. But it's man, my man Pacheco, man. I love this kid's energy, bro. Like, I'm rooting for him to be everything. But I know running backs, we only get them for 4 years. You know, so I'm gonna go Bobby Witt because we just signed that contract, and he's gonna be one of those cats that like forever, right? Like George, we had George Brett back in the day that stayed with us, got recruited,
whole career.
His whole career with us. So that's the only reason, man. Because I know, like, and he's just the way he plays, bro. That he's got that Bobby Checo vibe, dude. Like, runs fast, throws hard, and he's smiling all the time. Those dudes could be twins, but since I picked Bobby, I'll tell you right now, man. Props to Pacheco. That energy in our house, my wife loves this kid, and you know, she knows some football, but man, she loves her some Pacheco, man. Just that smile, his background, where he came from, and just what he represents. He represents grind, bro. Like, he's too small or he's too little or whatever. Man, don't count him out, bro. Like,
he goes. He's
that kid,
he's a train, man.
Yeah, until that whistle blows, man. My man's gonna give you everything he's got, and you gotta love that. You know what I mean? Yeah, but I'll go Bobby Witt, man.
All right, man. Bobby Witt.
All right, so let's do another people real quick. Eddie Griffin or Jason Sudeikis?
Ooh, so I came up with Eddie Griffin. Man, I remember he was on Def Jam. They just mentioned Kansas City. I was like, man, he represented from a long time ago when he got discovered on Def Jam. He did his segment. He did his thing. And just to hear Kansas City, and I was in the Army at the time, so we're watching Def Jam, which is a East Coast thing. Yeah. And I'm a big-time East Coast hip-hop guy, and then just to see Eddie Griffin come through there and represent, you know, and then St. Louis too, right? He did some stuff in St. Louis. But like, and then he did that TV show, and it was based in Westport. So Jason Sudeikis, he's the current guy, right? And he's doing it, and he's blowing up on another level because they had a show. He came from Saturday Night Live, and that dude is like, so he gives it all the way back. Like, Eddie had his time, and then he bounced out. He wasn't as successful, but I think that has a lot to do why he's not able to do.
He's still out there doing things.
Is he?
Yeah.
So I don't think, you know, his art didn't take him as far as Jason City, because Jason made it all the way to Saturday Night Live, and I see, man, them dudes are about Kansas City. Him and that crew, man. Oh, no doubt. Man, he got me switching sides just talking about it, bro. I grew up, like, I just remember, like, just being so proud of Eddie while I was gone. So he represented home, so he has that on me. But I don't know, man. Jason is all about Kansas City. Him and that crew, like, everything.
And he's international too.
Yes, international.
Jason is international.
He's international, but I don't think Eddie had the forum, man. Like, I don't think he was given the break to do what he could do. And plus, his comedy was more edgy, it's more street, so that's not going to get more, you know, mainstream. Following. So, and then Jason Sudeikis had just his comedy just transparent all over, man. Like, he could do whatever with that stuff, and he's super talented, man. The acting, all the movies he's done has been good. But I'm not hating on Jason at all. I just
sounds like you a both guy.
You both. Can I do both?
Yeah, you can do both, bro. You do both. You might have justified it enough to say both.
Okay, I'm gonna switch it to places, man. Here we go. And this one, you're gonna pick one, bro.
I thought I had to pick one, man.
You gotta pick one. All right, you gotta pick one with this one.
All right, cool.
Pick one with this one. All right, it's gonna be rough. Kitty's Cafe, Town Top,
man. Mama Shirley, bro. Come on, man.
Come on, Shirley, man.
Truck Stop, bro.
Roberta, man.
Roberta. Oh, bro. Truck Stop, and now they speak Spanish, bro. Now they speak Spanish. And now they're selling it for like $10. They're blowing up. I love it.
I thought Kitty's Cafe because you was always over there too, man.
Hey, man, I grew up on some Mama Shirley. She gave me love when I needed it.
That's right.
She was one of the ones when I came in doing all that shit, and I was in my uniform. She was like, baby, I love you, and I pray for y'all. And I was like, man. And then she served me up that Truck Stop, and it was all good, bro. It's like Mama Shirley, you know, everybody else had, like, our grandmas had menudo. Mama Shirley had that Truck Stop for us on the day after, you know? The day after.
Rest in peace, man.
No, man. Yeah, man. She's, man, Mama Shirley, man. Rest in peace.
Man. All right. Let's do a place. Westport or Crossroads? I'm supposed to be community police officer down with everybody, bro. But you know what? Like, I always wonder when they ask the mayor what his favorite barbecue is. Like, how do you answer that, dude? You're like, you're gonna piss some people off. Here's the dude, man. I grew up
I grew up on some Westport, man. Like I did some things in Westport.
No doubt, man.
We all did, bro.
The Crossroads is dope. I love what they're doing, man.
Yeah.
But if I could only pick one, like if I'm going out now, it's Crossroads, man. I'm sorry, like Westport, y'all had me in my 20s, and I grew up, and I appreciate y'all. But now, like Crossroads, what they're doing, man, they're blowing up. They're doing some good things, man, and. And shout out to them for like not getting stomped on by the big man. That's a victory for them. But I just hope they remember what that feels like when they come over to the West Side. You know, like we got some things that are historic around here, and now I hope that Crossroads went through what they went through. That they remember that the next time they want to do some development, that they throw us a bone on the West Side. You know, but they're doing some good things. I'll give them some props, man. I'm proud of what, because Crossroads helped. There was a time when Crossroads helped downtown survive before they had and I think they helped each other, but before that whole Power and Light thing, man, it was they really helped each other on different lanes, man. But man, that Crossroads really came through for a lot of what's going on.
I just want to know, man, what happened to America's Pub, bro?
What happened to America's Pub, bro?
Man,
Bobby
like,
Keys and them OGs down there, bro.
What was that other one too?
What happened? Who did this?
Who did it?
Buzzer Beach too.
Buzzer Beach. They had a salsa night, man. Remember that?
Yeah.
They had like Wednesdays or something, salsa, man. They brought that in, man.
I remember there was a club,
Harpo's.
it used to do $1 beers on Fridays.
Oh, Wednesday night. Was it
No, it was
Fridays?
Fridays. It was Friday
What's
nights.
the name of the con?
$1.
Stanford's, wasn't it?
Stanford's.
Was it Stanford's? No, it was like
comedy.
X. Oh, man.
All right, we don't.
Dismiss me.
No,
Comments.
hey,
Put it
man,
in the comments.
You know what, man? Can we just change the subject? You guys will take it back to
Okay,
the spot.
all right,
Like, I'm a
let's-
cop now. I got kids. I'm gonna say too much, man.
All right, cool.
All right, let's go. Let's switch it to things too, man. We might go back to something else, but things. All right. KC barbecue versus KC beer, or
Oh yeah. Well, there's not beer. Beer's got some dues to pay still. They're doing a good job. Barbecue all day, man.
All day long, man.
We're legends. We're history. That goes back generations.
Yeah.
I think the beer game's coming, bro. Like they're doing good,
bro. There's so many breweries everywhere, bro.
You know what, man? Last night, my wife and I went out and we went to a beer spot, and I was like, "What y'all got local?" And they're like, "All this right here is
Yes.
local." And I was like, "Okay."
Northtown, Kansas City.
Remember when it was just
South.
Boulevard?
You remember when it was just Boulevard? Still proud of them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but yeah, man, like their game, our city, and that goes to what's going on in Kansas City, right?
Yeah.
All the business and our sports teams.
Yeah.
I'll say they got some dues to pay though. Like, hey, they're doing it right. They're on the right
But
path.
barbecue, I'm with you. I'm
Barbecue,
kind of with you on that
generational,
too,
man. Yeah, that's generations, bro.
All right, last one for me: Starlight Theater, Uptown Theater.
Oh, bro, I can't afford Starlight. I didn't think I could. I didn't think they want me down there, man. I didn't think I fit in. But I had seen some of my favorite ones, like Incubus was in Starlight.
Yeah, Incubus.
and I grew up on them back in when I was in my 20s or whatever. But oh man, Uptown used to bring like Leon Bridges before he blew up, man. I saw it, and like all of our people, like the like. War played there. I remember Uptown for like before they were before they went legit or. But like Uptown's like, it's grindy. It's us, It's not
It's still
bougie.
kind of like that. I think.
Yeah, man, it still got that flavor, bro.
I remember seeing Eddie Griffin in Uptown Theater.
Yeah,
Remember
no,
that?
I've seen all
Uptown,
kinds of
man.
people there, man.
I've done a lot. We've done some quinceañeras in there.
Yeah, man.
Uptown, man, that's just, I mean, it's, to me, it represents like affordable, like for those of us who couldn't afford Starlight,
It's air in the
But
hood
now,
too, man. You go right
man.
down the street.
Nah,
But when
walk
Chubby's was
there.
there, when Chubby's was there,
oh,
go
bro.
there after there, bro.
Them hot dogs,
Oh man, come on, man.
I can't do it, man.
All right, my last one for you, bro, and I think this might be kind of, I don't know, catch with you both with both of them, man. Okay, KC winter or KC summer, bro?
Oh man, I have to go summer because like, winter I get it's about dressing up, man.
Yeah.
I like suits and ties but that's it. Winter, man, is nasty, bro. Summer, we bring the heat, but man, there's places to go, swimming pools. I can manage the heat more, and it might be my Aztec blood saving me on that one, but I can't, man. Sometimes the winter just it's
too cold.
I'm with you, bro.
Like
I
my
can't
body
do the winters
hurts, man.
anymore, bro.
Let me tell you this: like when I was in foot chase in the summertime and I fell down, I didn't feel it till I got home because of adrenaline.
Yeah.
When you fall in the wintertime, you feel it instantly, and I don't feel like I could do a good job of catching a bad guy in the winter because I'm scared to fall, man. Like sometimes, I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna call your mom, man. You go ahead and run. I'm not running in the wintertime. I'll slip, and I'm 51 years old, bro. Like
The chick in the handcuffs, she got away in the winter. winner, ain't it, bro?
Yeah. She was in the winner. Yeah, she was a winner. See? You see how that? See what happened?
See, I got you, bro.
The winner got me.
That's fun, bro.
Chato,
Summer all day,
bro. I want to ask him this last question.
All right,
yeah, man.
All right. What's your favorite word in Spanish, bro?
Ooh. Chingon, bro.
Chingon,
man.
Chingon, bro. It could mean so many things, man. And we got people who are chingonas, and then just, even though I've managed my macho and alpha, man, but there's just no other explanation. And when you have a good experience, when you have a beautiful concert, a good song, a good vibe, dude.
Man.
That was chingon, bro, man.
Chingon, man. Love it, bro.
Yeah.
You a chingon, bro.
You guys are chingon, bro.
Hey, and you know what, man? Salud one last time.
Yeah,
Chato, man. Thank you for...
Salud to y'all, bro.
Chato, man, is there any last thing, man, you'd like to share, brother?
Yeah.
That we didn't ask you or something?
Yeah. It'll take 1 minute, and I need y'all's help. I've been studying y'all's show. I've been preparing. I was gonna get caught off guard. I was like, man, when they ask me to say something that's Kansas City, I was gonna be ready. It's gonna be group participation, and then you got this other level of dopeness with those questions. I love that. Keep that format. But I had mine, man. I had mine ready.
Oh, I was gonna ask you. That's gonna be my last question, bro.
All right, I was disappointed. I was like, damn, I've been studying.
bro.
I was like, you don't catch me off guard. I'm ready.
Bro. You
That's
see, we
it,
catch
though.
people off
That's
guard
it.
with it, bro.
Y'all, this
man.
conversation, I'll just say a comment then. This conversation has been real, man. I appreciate y'all, what y'all doing it up until me, and letting me chop it up with y'all. It's been an honor. That's about it, bro. I have no questions other than that. Just to give you guys mad props, and I can't wait for this thing to just keep going where it's headed, bro.
Thank you, brother.
man.
Thank you, Chato, man. With that, bro,
Oh, phew.
tell us you're from KC without telling us you're from KC.
All right. Well, the other people didn't have a chance to prepare. I was a fan. But I'm going to start some, and y'all got to finish it. And if you all don't finish it, then you ain't from KC.
All right.
Lemonade, lemonade, lemonade.
Lemonade.
Woo! Chewy. Y'all don't know about Chewy.
Come on.
Remember
Yeah,
Chewy at the
yeah, at the ballpark, bro.
Woo! Come on.
Hey, and
That's for the OGs, bro.
He went and he started his own thing at the T-Bone.
He did, man.
After
like,
that,
they
I
sold
remember
him.
that.
Like, he started off working for him, bro. And then they sold him the company, and he blew it up. He was a Starlight, too.
Yeah.
But Chewy, the
crazy,
lemonade
bro.
guy, bro.
Lemonade,
And you know
man.
the other dude, he's still out there, bro. Because I saw him. He's the dude who throws the peanuts from like 2 or 3
That dude
hours.
got an arm,
bro.
Yeah.
He's still out
bro.
there,
When
bro.
Tyler Thickpin was our quarterback, I was like, why not Peanut Guy in there, bro?
Go
You know what
holler
I'm
at
saying,
this
bro?
dude, man.
We had Brody Crow. Why we got Brody Crow? We got Peanut
Man,
Guy in the
facts,
stands,
bro. Facts, bro.
Sign him, bro.
Facts.
Chewy, the lemonade guy.
That's
dude,
dope, bro.
man.
You do got to be from Kansas City to understand that, bro. I love that.
That's great.
Listen,
man.
Chato, man, this has been a complete honor, bro,
Man,
to
it's
have
been
you
great,
on
brother.
here, man.
It's
Thank
been
you for
great.
joining us,
Appreciate y'all,
man, here
man.
on Enterrupt KC.
Yeah, man.
People, Places, and Things, Kansas City. Yo, we're going to go ahead and get out of here.
Yeah, man.
Everybody, man, like, follow, share, subscribe, man. This is what we do. We tell
Yeah, man.
stories. We have fun. It's all a blessing, man. So
Comment, man.
we're going to get out of here. Peace.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.